There's my beautiful baby. Hi, my beautiful baby. And hello to you. Welcome, my little ninjas. My name's Mike, and this is my YouTube page, Mox News. And welcome to your Wake and Bake News at 7 p.m. I'm your host, Moxie. And it's Dabs for Donations Friday. And I have not had a dab all day long, so I would love to have a dab in your honor anytime soon. Again, it's Dabs for Donations Friday. And we're giving away a pizza gift card if we can just reach our $50 goal. I don't make the rules, people. But I'll tell you what, the $50 goal comes in handy because I have to go grocery shopping today. and it's going to cost at least $50. I'm out of everything. Out of tea, out of tortillas, out of chicken, out of cheese, out of beans. I even got to buy sriracha. So it's going to add up really quickly. If anybody wants to help out with some groceries, that'd be really nice of you. Otherwise, I have made many videos for you tonight. One of them is a repeat. I have the video from last night that I posted of this Israeli woman talking about how the people of Gaza are this genocidal force who are trying to kill all Jews. It sure doesn't look like that to me. You know, I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. If anybody's genocidal, it's the people trying to genocide the Palestinians. Far as I can tell, maybe that's just me. What do you think? I'd love to talk about it. The number's right there on the screen. This is a call-in show. The number's 805-669-6397. It's not so much about what I think here as what you think. That's why I put the phone number up on the screen, because we're very interested in what you think, believe it or not. Now, I know many of you are probably out and about on this wonderful Friday evening, seeing what kind of crazy trouble you can get yourself into. And good luck with that. I hope that you find something that's a lot of fun, because life is short. And you should try and enjoy it as much as possible. That being said, life is even shorter if you live in Gaza. That being said, I am very glad that you tuned in this evening, and every evening that you tune in, because it would be completely meaningless without you. You guys are what gives the show meaning. And in fact, I can prove that it would be meaningless without you, because I would just be sitting here talking to myself. And what good does that do anybody? Again, I sure would like to take a dab. I haven't had a dab all day, and it's Dabs for Donations Friday. So if anybody's interested, there's clickable links in the text body of the video, or I will put clickable links in the chat right now in case you're looking, or you can go to moxnews.com. Again, it's Dabs for Donations Friday, which means you give a donation, I take a dab in your honor. I'd really like to take a dab. And if we reach $50 in donations, I will have enough grocery money. But besides that, we'll give away a pizza gift card. But first, and we'll give it away to the 5th caller this time. But first, Craig wants to make you jump through hoops to see if you can beat my cock. You don't have to. All you have to do is be the 5th caller. But you have to try. You have to at least try and beat my cock. Because that's the game. I don't make the rules, people. So if we get to $50, we'll do a little Can You Beat My Cock game show. Because, my cock is what America is all about. See, it says so right there. Can you see that? It says right there, my cock is what America is all about. And if anybody wants some My Cock for President postcard, or some My Cock for President, some Mox News business cards, which are definitely collectible. Knowledge is free. Or my Mox News stickers. These are very good stickers, professionally made. Craig has had one on his car now for almost a year, and it seems to be holding up pretty well. So if you want some of those, all you gotta do is call and let Craig know that you want some. I think he wants a little donation, like if you give $5, he'll be happy to send you out Mike Hawk for President postcard, Mox News stickers, and a Mox News business card or two, if you'd like. Because it's always cool to have stuff like that. And it's not like you got to go and buy a t-shirt or a mask. Speaking of which, we have t-shirts and masks. If you want a Mike Hawk, Mike Hunt, Mox News face mask or t-shirt, which is really cool. Again, knowledge is free. Or even we have a Mox News coffee mug. So, that'll get everybody's attention in the office. If you want any of those, there's clickable links in the... Oh, look at all these too. Oh, Craig also made a Guy Fawkes mask. And, he made this one too, which I like. Knowledge is free. That one I like the best. Where was I at? If you want postcards, if you want the Mox News merch, there is a clickable link in the text body of the video also. Now, as I was saying, I have many videos for you tonight. One about there's a new Amazon complex being built, and they found 7 different nooses at 7 different locations, rope nooses, according to this news story. Oh, and anti-Semitism is on the rise in America. I thought you might want to talk about that. Did you know that you're going to have to get a vaccine booster shot, it looks like, if you want to be fully protected from the COVID? And they're talking about having to get one every year now. Because, vaccines expire, just like the flu vaccine, you got to get a new one every year. This is the logic being told to us. Here we are. It's Friday night, and I have always enjoyed doing this with you all, and I want to keep doing it because, like I said, Mox News has always been about your voices. Actually, before there was a Mox News, there was a C-SPAN Junkie, there was a Voters Think page, all of my creations. And again, I actually never did an on-camera video until I published like 20,000 videos. And and then finally they took down a couple pages, and I was like, oh man, I have to explain to people what's going on, which I did, and everybody followed me over to the other pages, and those pages had 25,000 videos on them, and then they took them down. So I've been really screwed over by YouTube, but the entire career that I've done on YouTube for 16, 17, 18 years, the entire career that I've done has always been about your voices, what you all think. Because if I just talk, it's not, we don't get the flavor, we don't get the discussion, we just get to hear, the one side of what I think. So, I was never like a big censor in the comments. I probably censored maybe one person or 2 people a year, just block them because they're there to make other people feel really uncomfortable, and that's their sole purpose. And they're saying extremely hateful things, and I don't want people hating, just filled with hate and spewing hate. Even though I have a giant problem with the Israeli government, I don't stand up here and spew hate and spew hate and spew hate, because Mox News has never been about that either. Always been about freedom of speech. Your speech, my speech, everybody's speech. Because that's one of the things that we have to fight for now. We've watched We've watched the YouTube, we watched the Facebook, we watched the Twitter act like they can censor anyone for anything at any time. And again, I've had, 50,000 videos taken down, 60,000 videos taken down off of YouTube, which, again, it's not so much my work being taken away, this effort to bring this historical document, this living thing that I created, which every day got thousands of new comments. It wasn't so much that they shut that down. It was, or that they took away the work that I had been doing, the hard work I had been doing for years and years. It wasn't so much that they, just threw it all in the trash. It was that it was this, like I said, a living, breathing history of what had happened, since since before Obama got elected, and way before Obama got elected. The second term of George Bush, we were all over it. So it was before Obama got elected. It was the second term of George Bush. I'm pretty sure we covered the 2004 election on the YouTube. And like I'm saying, there's this living history there. And what makes it a living history is that every day people would add their voices to what they see, to what they thought, to what, is happening right now, and how it corresponds to who these people are and what it is that they made happen when they were around and they were in charge. And like I said, it's this living history, and this irreplaceable thing, because no matter how many videos that I put back up, all these hundreds, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, possibly millions of comments, gone forever. And those are never coming back. And that's a really, really, really fucked up shit, Google, YouTube. And all of you should be extremely ashamed who work at YouTube and Google for trash canning this thing that's this living document that can never be replaced, this history of mankind, of the United States, that can never be replaced. And again, for that reason, the people at Google, the people at YouTube should be extremely ashamed of the fact that that's where they work. Because where you work is anti-American. The YouTube, the Google, the Twitter, the Facebook, they don't believe in your freedom, in your First Amendment, in your God-given right as upright walking, opposable thumb, tippy-top of the pointy spear of the food chain, big-brained, upright walking, God-given right to speak your mind as you see it, to say things out into the continuum and see what people think about that. To have a discussion, to start a discussion, and then have it keep going. These things are considered threatening to the powers that be, considered threatening to the YouTube, considered threatening to the Facebook, considered threatening to all mankind. This is what they will tell you when they take down your videos. Oh, this is medical misinformation. Not that we have been misinformed by anyone else, Oh, you shouldn't wear a mask. You shouldn't wear a mask. Oh, you have to wear a mask. You have to wear a mask. Oh, you should be wearing 2 masks. You should be wearing 2 masks everywhere you go. And now we find out, thanks to Sanjay Gupta, which I showed you last week, there are no documented contractions, people getting sick from COVID from being outdoors. 0 cases. Okay? And that's from Dr. Sanjay Gupta, Dr. Pilshil Sanjay Gupta, who forever has told us, oh, you have to wear masks, oh, you have to do this, oh, yeah, you don't want to greet people, you don't want to be around people. You gotta, and I walk every day. I walk a couple hours every day. I love walking. I love, helping the dogs get exercise and stay busy. And I say hi to everybody. You know, everybody I'm super friendly with. It's so weird because I don't drive. You know, I don't know what kind of cars people drive or anything. I don't really pay attention to that. But I have people drive by me all the time, and they're like, "Hey," you know, I have no idea who they are. I just wave back. But that's, I think a lot of that is because I wave and I say hi and I talk to everybody. So everybody in the neighborhood kind of knows me. The thing is, my point that I'm getting to is that, again, Sanjay Gupta, no known cases of COVID-19 being contracted in the outdoors, right? So you don't really need to use a mask outdoors. At least that's what I hear Sanjay Gupta saying. And besides that, what I was getting to about my friendly neighborhood, me saying hi to everybody, is that I see these people, and never before in this friendly neighborhood have I seen people, you know, walk 6 feet, 10 feet, 12 feet out of the way. Now, if they have a dog or something, and my dogs are heading towards them, you know, I'm like, these dogs are really friendly. They're like, my dog's not. I often wonder if it's the dog that's not friendly. But it's always a new person that has the unfriendly dog. I don't know why they have unfriendly dogs, but I don't think it's the dog's fault. That being said, again, they walk way around me. No known contracted COVID cases from outdoors. Okay, that's Sanjay Gupta, Dr. Sanjay Gupta. I'm sorry, Pill Shill Sanjay Gupta, right? So why are people walking 6 feet away? Why are people wearing face mask outdoors? Why are people in their car driving by themselves wearing face mask? Outdoors, in the car, by yourself. How does it make any sense? I see it every day, and I wonder, are these people misinformed or underinformed? My guess is both. My guess is that they were completely misinformed for, you know, the last year or so, or maybe the last 20 years, because that's the way it seems. I've been doing the news for way before there was a YouTube, and as far as I can tell, that's one of the main functions of the news, is to misinform people. So anyways, this show is not about COVID. Do I have? Oh, I do have a video about students at a college protesting the mandatory vaccine, because a lot of colleges now are saying that you have to have a vaccine or you're not welcome to come to school here. Which I'm waiting to see if they're going to do this with elementary schools. I have a really bad feeling that they are, which I don't know. See, the thing is that I see it this way. I see that maybe they won't make it mandatory for elementary school kids to have the vaccine, but if you don't have proof that you got it, they're going to make kids wear a mask, and the ones who've gotten the vaccine not wear a mask, and then it's going to be like, you know, if you think you got bullied in school, these kids are going to be like, oh, you're going to kill us all, so we're going to kill you first. You know, I mean, that's how bullying works. You know, not so much that they're afraid of you, but in one way or another, generally, bullies are threatened. And that's why or they see weakness, they perceive weakness, you know. Often both, I think, is that they're threatened some way because you're smarter than them, because you're more open about your sexuality, you know, whatever it is, they're threatened, and then on top of that, they perceive some kind of weakness, so they can come in like a shark that smells blood in the water. And I used to have this guy in high school, and he would just sucker punch me out of nowhere. And he was like a foot taller than me. I think he was 2 grades ahead of me. And he would just sucker punch me out of nowhere. You know, I'd wind up on the ground, not knowing what happened, getting up and going, oh, that fucker. You know, and it came to where when I'd see him, I'd go the other way. And that's not really who I am, but, you know, when you're a kid, it's a little different, and you're getting somebody shoving their fist in your face on a regular basis. It's a little different. So Anyways, I didn't mean to go down that rabbit hole. All I'm saying is, it's like with the Israelis and the Palestinians, right? The Israelis go, "Oh, we're threatened. We're so threatened," and then they perceive this weakness where they can bomb the shit out of them back to Stone Age, like all bullies would love to be able to do. And for whatever reason, nobody calls. The people call Israel out on their bullying bullshit, but generally speaking, no governments do. All I hear from Joe Biden is we support Israel. Well, what about the Democrats in your party who are acting, in a different way? Well, let me make it clear. We support Israel. Fuck you, Joe Biden. You support fucking baby killing fucking cunts who you're gonna fucking give $750 million worth of weapons so they can go and kill more babies. That's who you are, Joe Biden. That's who you've always been. You don't give a fuck about one American that's not related to you. Anyone can see that if they want to. Which is really unfortunate because, again, we deserve much better leadership than this. We need some forward-thinking people, man. I just don't see anybody in Congress. I don't see anybody ever in the White House who are like these forward-thinking people about where we should be, 20, 30, 40 years from now. Israel, the anti-Semitism. How about, your children's future? How about that? How about every drop of water being poisoned on the planet? Oh, we support big oil. We support fracking. Good plan. All right, so as I was saying, it's Dabs for Donation Friday, which means, and I haven't had a dab yet today, so I'd really like to, which means if you give a donation, I take a dab in your honor. But not only that, we have a pizza gift card giveaway today. So if anybody, I know you guys like pizza. So if we get to $50 in donations, we'll do the fifth caller will get the pizza gift card. But first, you're going to have to play the game show that Craig's wants you to play. You don't have to win it. You're going to get the card either way. Fifth caller, not the 10th caller this time. We're going to make it a little more pressing. Fifth caller. And it's grocery shopping day and teethy brushing day. That's probably why Rufus ran away. He does not care for the teethy brushing day. But it's teethy brushing day, but it's grocery day. And if anybody wants to help out with that, I am out of everything. And I mean everything. So, I'm going to play a video here, again, about the protesters, the students at college protesting mandatory vaccines in order to be able to go to school. I think this is an important video, and I think it's wrong to have mandatory. All these universities, all these colleges are telling people, you have to get the vaccine. I am really tired of this, you have to get the vaccine shit. I am really tired of this. It's your patriotic duty to get the vaccine. I'm tired of this bullshit. Because, I have a lot of patriotic duty. I really do. The thing is, when my brain tells me something else than what the patriotic duty is being inflicted upon me, told to me that I have this patriotic duty that I have to do, and my brain says something else, that kind of trumps patriotic duty. My brain says, I don't like the idea of that. My brain is going to trump whatever it is that my patriotic duty is. Oh, you have to go to war in Iraq to fight a war based on lies, to kill 1 million innocent Iraqis in the name of every single citizen in the United States. No. And I fought against that, and I fought against that, and I fought against that. And I did my best to make people as aware as possible about that. So yeah, I was doing YouTube before and during the 2004 election. You remember the "Don't Tase Me, Bro" guy? I think I was the first one to publish that video on YouTube. Don't tase me, bro. He was at a John Kerry rally. John Kerry being the liberal good guy up against George Bush. Both of them being members of the Skull and Bone Society at Yale. I believe it's Yale. Which is, known for sick and twisted bullshit. Besides skull fucking. So, it's, this is where we're at. We have this fucked up piece of shit government that doesn't care about it, goddamn anyone, except for Israel. We got to give Israel $23 million a day because their children deserve free college. Not your children, but their children definitely deserve free college. And they have this threat that they have to bully into fucking non-existence. So I'm going to play this video about vaccine booster shot. No. Student protesting mandatory vaccines. I'm going to go ahead and play that one for you. I will be right back. As I was saying, it's Dabs for Donations Friday, and I would love to take a dab in your honor, especially since I have not had a dab yet. I will there's clickable links in the text body of the video. I will put some links in the chat also. But first, I'm going to play this video for you, and I'll be right back.
Anti-vax or anti-vax mandate. College students across the higher education system are protesting mandatory COVID vaccinations in order to return to the schools in the fall. Lydia Hu is at an organized student demonstration. It's at Rutgers University in New Brunswick, New Jersey. Lydia.
David, this group here is speaking out against Rutgers University vaccine mandate for students. Mostly they say they don't oppose the vaccine, but they oppose a mandate that takes away student choice. Today's event is hosted by a libertarian student group called Young Americans for Liberty, as well as Turning Point USA. Take a look behind me because you can see several hundred people are gathered here, and what includes students, parents, relatives, and others from New Jersey, including local lawmakers. One of the student organizers tells me she may actually get the vaccine herself, but she wants the freedom to make that choice. Watch this.
We are not allowing students to make the personal decisions for themselves. I'm not anti-vax. I'm anti-mandate, and I believe that I have the right and I need the time to make the correct decision. We should not be discriminating students against whether or not they want to take the vaccination. We should be recommending it, not mandating it.
Back in March, Rutgers University became one of the first colleges in the country to mandate the vaccine for students. And since then, more than 380 colleges and universities have followed suit, issuing similar policies. Now, the Rutgers policy does allow students to seek an exemption based on religious or health reasons. And when we contacted a spokesperson, they told us that the school is, quote, committed to creating a safe campus environment. And they went on to say that this policy is consistent with the legal authority. Now, still, students tell me today that it's important for them to speak out against this mandate. They want the administration to hear their views. In fact, some students that are attending today tell me that if this mandate is fully enforced, they will leave school. They will transfer to another school or university before they get the vaccine this fall. David, back to you.
Interesting. Lydia Hu, thank you very much. Well, here now to discuss is Angela Morabito. She is a campus reform fellow and former U.S. Department of Education press secretary. Good to see you. Thank you for being here, Angela. Are colleges getting ahead of science on this?
They're ahead of science, and they're certainly ahead of the FDA, which has not yet granted full approval for the COVID vaccine. And while Operation Warp Speed has yielded very exciting results, I can tell you I was excited to go get my shot. The FDA has a detailed and lengthy process for approving vaccines. So if we want to trust the science here, that means being patient until the science has shown some more results.
Well, we all know that the younger you are, the more likely, first of all, you are to survive COVID if you get it, but even to get severe symptoms if you get the disease. So I think a lot of students are saying we should have the choice of whether we want to suffer the consequences of COVID or, in fact, worry about long-term effects of a vaccine. And again, a lot of these vaccines employ a very new technology, right?
That's right. It's not just a new vaccine, it's a new type of vaccine. This is the first mRNA vaccine that's been widely available to the public. And while that has shown great promise and it's very exciting, it's also a deeply personal decision where people are weighing risks and rewards. Students are rightfully bristling at the idea that their university thinks they get a vote here. These colleges are some of the first businesses in America who are saying, regardless of what we require for our employees, we're going to require the customers, our students, to either show up with the shot or go home.
Now, a lot of these colleges and universities are private institutions. You have the choice to either go there and accept their rules or not. So it's a matter, you still have the choice. I mean, you can, as Lydia was just reporting, some of these students say if they are forced to get the vaccine, they will not go. They'll transfer to some college that doesn't require them. So there is still choice to that degree, no?
That's right. And at Campus Reform, we're hearing from students every day who say, just like the student you spoke to, that they want to get the shot. They're just really troubled by the fact that their university feels entitled to make that decision on their behalf. They're in college to learn how to be productive adults and good American citizens. And if we want to train great adults, we got to let them make these adult medical decisions for themselves.
Angela, I want to switch gears a little bit to something that has been highlighted by the pandemic as we focused on teachers' unions and what they were doing with regard to these mandates and their refusal to get back in, even when everybody said it was safe, all the scientists said it was safe. We're also getting word now of what goes on inside the classrooms, these teaching methods that are being used, the 1619 project, the critical race theory, et cetera. There is a lot of pushback in America against these programs now. It was all highlighted by the pandemic. Maybe it was one of the good things. Parents finally took more of an interest in what was going on inside the classroom, right?
All right, people, I'm back, and I owe Jackie Cat a big fat dab because she is so wonderful. Thank you, Jackie Cat. I will do a big fat dab in your honor. And it looks like we are only $15. I owe another dab to someone too. We'll get to that one in a minute. Jackie Cat was first. We're only $15 away from our $50 goal of giving away the pizza gift card. And whoever called earlier, I thought Craig was going to do the phones, but he's passed out. So, so I guess I'm doing the phones. If what you want is to get to our $50 goal, and again, I'm gonna make it the fifth caller tonight wins the pizza gift card. So it'll be a little more fast paced. There'll be a more of a demand, to try and get in faster than if we do the 10th caller. People are waiting until the 8th caller or the 7th caller, whatever, and I'll try. We'll do the 5th caller tonight. And I do have a lovely pizza gift card to give away. So we will do that momentarily. Well, if we reach our $50 goal, because it's Dabs for Donations Friday, and I am going to do a big fat one for Jackie Cat right now. That one's for you, Jackie Cat. Big fat one. Thank you, Jackie Cat. That was very nice. I kind of lost my train of thought there for a second. Excuse me, I just went to the Bahamas for a minute. Okay. Very nice. Ha, good one, Jackie Cat. All right. So again, we are almost 3/4 of our way to our goal. We have the goal is $50. So far, we've gotten to $35, and I owe someone else a dab. So it's Dabs for Donations Friday, and if we get to our $50 goal, we will give away the lovely pizza gift card. It's a Domino's pizza gift card, in case anybody's wondering. That way, you know that one will be in your neighborhood. I believe Domino's is nationwide. And I would love to give that to one of you lucky viewers. I really would. It always kind of exciting and fun when people start calling the phone and like, oh, damn, caller number 3. Oh, damn, I really want that pizza. I really want a pizza too. I've been craving pizza so bad. So bad. But it's not on my, it's not, I am very tight. So I don't spend a lot of extra money on anything out of the house. I cook everything that I eat pretty much, which is probably a healthy thing, you know. I don't really eat any fast food at all, maybe once a year or so. You know, so, but pizza doesn't count. Pizza is completely different from fast food. Hello, caller. Hello? Oh, hello, caller.
Hey, how you doing? My name is David. I'm calling into the show.
How's it going, David?
Good.
What's on your mind? This is Mike.
Oh, hey, Mike. Yeah. I just wanted to say thanks for what you do. Like, I've watched a lot of like different YouTubes, and I pride myself on being like a researcher in my free time, and I don't think I've ever come across anyone that has so many similar views as I do. So I just want to say thanks for everything that you do.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. That's very nice of you. I really appreciate you calling. I don't want to be mislead you though. A lot of people seem to think that they have similar views as me, and then I'll say something and they'll be really mad at me. So I'm just giving you a heads up on that. I'm not disputing what you're saying. I'm just giving you a heads up.
Yeah, I'm sure we don't agree on everything, but I mean, like the big things, like especially like with politics and the way the world works and everything, and like.
So you think we should send every member of Congress to prison for life?
Most of them.
Yeah, me too, man.
Most of them.
That's the only way we're going to get something better, is to make examples out of these people, you know.
Definitely. There's one that I like, and his name's Rand Paul.
Yeah, I love his father. I mean,
Yeah,
his father was amazing, but Rand Paul is no Ron Paul. You know what I mean? And it's unfortunate because he had that example set for him, and he could be, but I think he kind of chooses not to be because he doesn't want to ruffle the waters too much. Although he does a good job. It's just not. I miss Ron Paul so much, dude.
Yeah, I miss Ron Paul too. I attended a rally he had in St. Petersburg, Florida, my hometown, in 2008 when he was running for president.
Yeah, me too. I attended a rally of his too.
It was amazing. I remember it was a Wednesday night, and there was about 400 people there, if I had to guess, and it was in an auditorium.
Yeah.
And he couldn't get there until like 12:30 in the morning. And it's like everybody was still waiting for him. I was amazed.
He packs them in, man. I can't remember where I saw him at, but I was really glad that we got there early because that place couldn't get more people in it. By the time he was on stage, it was just packed full.
I remember earlier in that day, they had they called it some kind of rally. They were having like one of the first YouTube debates, and there was, if I had to guess for the whole, well, I don't know, I got there kind of in the mid-afternoon, but it was a straw poll is what they were doing, and they had everybody that purchased like this $20 ticket to do like a barbecue for the day, and they had live music.
Yeah.
Everyone that got a ticket got to vote, right?
Yeah.
And you look around the whole thing, and it's like 85% Ron Paul people. But then when they counted all the votes, Mitt Romney won by like 200 or 300.
Is that the CPAC thing? Because they do that straw poll at the CPAC.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean by CPAC, but
it's a Republican, PAC. It's a political action committee. It's some kind of I think it's conservative political action committee.
Yeah, it was.
Where everybody goes during the presidency, and they all do speeches and stuff.
Yeah, I think this was one of a public thing, because I remember it being a CNN YouTube debate. And everyone that got a ticket got a vote, but there were people like with stacks of tickets that were just standing there like voting over and over and over. And obviously the whole thing was bought,
Yeah, that's the same way I feel about Iowa. Ron Paul won Iowa, and at first they said that Rick Santorum won, and it was obvious that he won. Yeah, and they just cheated the fuck. And Iowa's really important to win. I don't want to act like it's just one state. Iowa is the first state that people vote in, and so if you win that state, all of a sudden you have national coverage, right? Ron Paul won. Where did this come from? And everybody would tune in and see who Ron Paul is. And if they did that, they'd be blown out of their socks, and no other Republican candidate could possibly have a chance. And they all have to change the way that they talk, because Ron Paul says the truth where they're all full of shit, and people would be calling him on it. So they can't let Ron Paul win Iowa, because then the whole party's fucked, right?
I completely agree. I've actually told that story several times in my lifetime, what you just said.
Yeah.
They didn't tell anybody until after it was already decided who the Republican nomination was, that he had actually won that state.
Right. They waited until like 5 months later or something, and then it was, look, I guess Ron Paul did win. That you're exactly right. I left that part out.
And the other scummy thing they did to him that year was I think it was the next time he ran.
2012? Yeah.
Yeah. He won like 6 states out of the Republicans.
Mm-hmm.
So he had the right for a speaking role at the Republican National Convention.
Yeah.
And they stole that away from him, and they changed the rules on how the votes were counted. So technically he didn't get those 5 states, but he had like 6 states, I believe. So, and they put like a little video up on the stage. So not only, are they cheating the guy, but they're disrespecting him too. So that was scummy to me.
Yeah. They're horrible. They don't believe in the rules. They don't care about the truth. And again, they don't care about the American people. The American people said, hey, we want this guy. The voters of Iowa said, hey, we want this guy. And they said, yeah, we don't care what you want. These are supposed to be the people that are looking out for those voters and making sure they get what they want. That's the kind of people that we have in office right now. So we're clear. And it doesn't matter Republican or Democrat. They're exactly the same. They say it's bullshit where they're like, we're public servants and we're representatives and we're here to listen. Yeah, you may be here to listen, but you don't do a fucking thing for the working class. In fact, you screw the working class every chance you get. Sorry, I don't mean to go on. Go ahead.
No, I completely agree. And like in that particular instance, again, like someone made a very good point to me where I think it was in 2012 where they had the Republican National Convention in Tampa, Florida, I believe is what it was. And the people running the local votes, it was in their minds, it's their privilege to take this vacation, right? They've been volunteering, counting votes for X amount of years or whatever, so they know that they're going to get a hotel stay in Tampa, Florida, and they already planned their vacation around it. So not only when the people were voting for Ron Paul, but they were voting for each other to get into those positions at a grassroots level.
Yeah.
Those people suppressed that because they wanted the free trip with the towel folded into a duck or something on their bed, next to the beach in Florida,
Yeah.
They plan their whole vacation around it. So we're not going to let these people move up through the grassroots. We're going to suppress it right here before it gets out of hand,
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's exactly what I just said. These are the people that are representing you, but they don't give a fuck about you or what you think or what you want or who you voted for. They could care less.
I remember as a younger person I would say in my late 20s, early 30s, I'm trying to, communicate this with my peers, the people I work with and the people I hang out with. And they made this big deal. And I remember we were bowling when Mitt Romney and Obama were running for president. And I had half my friends wanting Obama and half of them wanting Romney, And
Wow.
they were, it was,
I
it
can't.
was, it was
I just
like
can't
a
imagine
back and
anybody.
forth.
I just can't imagine anybody wanting Romney. That's where the wow came from. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. And my point then, and my point afterwards is like it doesn't matter. You're voting for the same person. Like it's like a coin. It has a heads and it has a tails, and it's like afterward, like they weren't. The major thing that changed in my mind, at least for the majority of Americans, is we went from not having mandated healthcare to having mandated healthcare, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that comes out of our paychecks. That's at the time as a young person, as a young adult, I never went to the hospital. I still don't go to the hospital,
I would
But
advise staying away from doctors as much as possible until you absolutely need them.
Right.
Yeah.
But my point is like we were going to have mandated health care, whether it was Romney, because he came from Massachusetts, which was the first state to implement this, and Barack Obama was also wanting to do mandated health care. The only thing they argued about was how to do it nationwide,
It's just this rip-off thing. It was a giveaway to the insurance companies, from what I can tell. I mean, they mandated now that you have to buy insurance, right? So everybody in the country has to buy insurance, and that's just a giveaway to the insurance company. I mean, it's like saying everybody has to buy, Pepsi. I don't know.
Yeah, and that's probably how they got all the money to do all the campaigning in the first place.
I think they get a lot of money that way, from sponsors like APAC and shit like that.
For sure. Like you're talking about the Israelis a lot this week. I just started watching your videos, by the way, just like a week ago. So this all I know about you is from this past week. But you had made some comments about how obviously these politicians are puppets of what Israel wants to do because that's where the money's flowing and everything. But when you were talking about that, I was thinking like, if you look into the presidential candidates before they get nominated for Democrat or Republican, or before they get nominated for president, they have to go in front of AIPAC and they have to do speeches.
Yeah.
Before they're allowed to be the candidate,
It's very strange. I think all foreign lobbying should be illegal. It makes no sense why, why if the people of this country want their money to go to another country, they will say, hey, they will lobby for that. They'll say, hey, these people in Gaza need help. We should send them a few million or $1 billion or whatever it is, But fucking Israel does not need $23 million a day of U.S. taxpayer money.
Yeah, especially after how many years? 70 years of getting it.
It's like there's so much support there that I can't even believe that it's just money, It's like there's something even more. It's like almost like they can't not support Israel because Israel has the dirt on them. Israel films them when they go there and they do whatever they do in their hotel rooms,
I also like to study history and in my free time and whatnot, and like what's weird to me is that I'm not going to even go there and talk about what happened to the Jewish people in Europe. I'm not even going to go there. But what I am going to say is that there were a lot of other atrocities. There were a lot of other atrocities in World War II. You have, for instance, the rape of Nanking, where the Japanese went inside people's houses and, killed the women and raped the women and so on and so forth. And if the men protested, they got bayoneted.
They stole the Korean women and brought them to Japan and put them in brothels, what they called comfort houses, where the soldiers would all go get their rocks.
If you look at the same time period, the same exact time period in India, Winston Churchill took, I don't know the actual tonnage of food and rice and so on and so forth away from a border region next to Nepal where the Japanese were.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a famine. The people were starving, and he wouldn't give them the food back.
Yeah.
He's responsible for the deaths of millions of people in India.
Yeah.
But my bigger point is we don't hear about these things, but I'm not going to say every major town, but there's a lot of towns across the United States of America and across the world that recognize the Holocaust Museum.
Yeah.
Because it's like it has to be engraved in every single kid that grows up, whether it's Israel or Europe or America, that this happened to the Jewish people.
Yeah.
And it's like, why is that? Nobody knows.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying about all the atrocities and the crimes against humanity that have gone down and are currently going down. There's horrible shit happening around the world, and so why is why does that event get so much attention? When there's all these other events that are equally as horrible, So I think it's because I think the part of the reason that it would be, since you just asked the question and it just came to me, I think that part of the reason might be because this is one of the very few atrocities that we stood up and fought against. Generally, we just let them happen and sell weapons to both sides.
Yeah, and another thing that is interesting to me about the whole Israeli topic is that it's exactly the same thing that we did to the Native Americans here.
I agree.
It's exactly the same.
I agree. I think that the Native Americans might, what was done. I agree. I can't disagree. They plow the orchards, century-old orchards that feed entire communities. They poison wells, drinking water wells. They poison them in the fucking desert, which is a lot like handing out blankets with smallpox, probably even worse than that. But I think that I don't know how many people have been massacred in Palestine. I just think the genocide in the United States, they took a giant country and just peaceful people. Not that I don't think the Palestinians aren't peaceful, but these people that were living with nature. And they looked at them like they were savages because that's not how they live. They look at nature as if it's this thing that needs to be dominated, And I just the massacre of the Native Americans just breaks my heart more than I can tell you.
It really does, and I think the more I do research about the natives here in what we call America now, it's almost like they were a victim of their peaceful culture because they just wanted to help the Europeans and that were coming over. They just wanted to help them.
Well, yeah, they think everyone's kind of a friend, you know. I mean, and that's the way I look at people too. And you know why? Because I don't want to be on guard with people all the time. And if there's a reason to be on guard, generally I can pick it up right away. But I don't want to be walking around afraid of my own fucking shadow. You know, or like I said, again and again and again, we're the top of the food chain. The Native Americans, they weren't afraid of bears. They weren't afraid of fucking cougars, like the pussies these days, who gotta go and kill all the fucking wolves, you know? It's with guns. They didn't even have guns, you know, and they weren't afraid of this stuff.
And where I'm from Florida originally, and they're the Seminole tribes down there, but the Seminoles were more like, from what I understand, are a mixture of several different tribes. But just like you said, they would hunt crocodiles with logs. So they make the crocodiles open their mouth and shove the log down, and there you go, you have your capture.
My dad used to tell me that when he was a kid, they would catch snapping turtles the same way. They'd go and they'd find like something along the bank that looked like a hole or something, and then they'd stick a stick down in the hole, and the turtle would snap down on the stick, and then they'd pull it right out.
Yeah, you learn that stuff when you're one with nature, you know.
All right, Dave, I gotta take a break. You said Dave, right?
Yes, sir.
It's really good to hear from you, man. I hope that you'll call back soon.
Definitely. Keep doing what you do. Thank you.
All right, thank you too. Stay cool, man. All right, landlord, I want to hear from you tonight. I have a question for you about Palestinians. Hey, buddy. I have a question about Palestinians and this stuff that's going on in the news. And I have a clip about this stuff that's going on in the news. Let's see. Let's look at this anti-Semitism clip that I have. Where is it? Oh, I have a few anti-Semitism clips. Look at that. So let's look at this one about Jerusalem police going into... This is how this all started. You know, this last round, this 11-day war where they murdered 300 people living in Gaza, at least 66 children. This all started by the police attacking the Al-Aqsa Mosque, okay? And that was, I think, 13 days ago or 14 days ago, that during Ramadan, the place is giant, is packed full of people peacefully praying on their knees, bowing down. This is how Muslims pray, from what I understand, which makes sense to bow down if you're going to, you know, bow down to God. That seems like how you do it. But that being said, peacefully praying, and then the Israeli police threw flashbang grenades and tear gas into the mosque, the third most holy site in Islam. You know, imagine what would happen if someone did that to an Israeli synagogue. You know, this is what the police did to start this whole thing, to begin the cycle of violence. And then today they did something similar during Friday prayers. They came up and started shooting rubber bullets and tear gas at people. And I'll show you that. And they may, in this clip, it may talk about this so-called attack in Los Angeles also. And if they show the video of the so-called attack in Los Angeles, you know, they say that these people came up and they're like, "Are you Jewish?" What I see is people celebrating, going down the street, waving their Palestinian flag, and my guess is the people having dinner, because it looked like they were just driving by, the people having dinner said something like, "Fuck Palestine," or something, right? And they jumped, a couple of them jumped out and said, "What you say?" They said, "Fuck Palestine." You know, and they said, "Fuck whatever," you know. And it just got out of hand and escalated. But my point is, if you watch, these people are walking away, and supposedly the people that were attacked in the restaurant are pretty far away from the restaurant. Not only are they pretty far away, these people that were supposedly the attackers are walking away, and this person picks up like a big old piece of metal and comes at them like they're going to attack. The person that was like the victim comes at them to attack them when they have their backs turned. If it's not in this clip, it'll be in one of the next ones. So that's what I see happening, and I think it's important to point out because the news never will. So I'm going to play that for you now, and hopefully I'll get your opinion. And I want to talk to landlord for sure. So I'll be right back. I gotta go heat up my tea. Here is clip number 8. Clip number 8. Number 8.
Thousands of Palestinians who fled their homes during the 11-day Israeli bombardment of Gaza have been going back. There's immense destruction caused in Gaza by that 11-day Israeli military campaign. Sewage pipes, power plants, schools. There is an immense amount of damage. More than 240 people were killed in the Gaza Strip. More than 60 of them were children. 12 Israelis were killed by Hamas, by contrast. The Israelis say that their Iron Dome missile defense system is part of the reason that they were able to repel so many of the Palestinian rockets fired by Hamas. Well, our Middle East editor, Jeremy Bowen, has finally been able to cross into the Gaza Strip. He did so this morning, and here's his report on what he found.
At 2 in the morning, the ceasefire started, and in Gaza, it was safe to go out again, to celebrate survival and to swear allegiance to Jerusalem, the holy city around 60 miles away, which most Palestinians here have never been able to visit. We sacrificed everything we have for Jerusalem, he's saying. I'm ready to sacrifice my son and my wife and myself for Jerusalem. And in Jerusalem, Palestinians were up all night too. Israel says the city is the eternal capital of the Jewish people and it will not be divided again. 2 million Palestinians live in Gaza, a thin strip of land along the Mediterranean, slightly smaller in square miles than the Isle of Wight. At first light, it was time to ask whether the suffering had been worth it. Men from the armed wing of Hamas, the Izz al-Din al-Qassam brigades, had no doubts. They paraded in Khan Yunis, one of Gaza's towns, to bury 9 men from their unit. They were killed in a strike on a tunnel on the 4th day of bombing. Hamas thought the tunnels were safe. Locating and hitting them from the air was a significant achievement for Israel. Thousands came to honor the dead men. Here in Gaza, as well as in Israel, there is no sense that the ceasefire is an end to their fight. The bodies could only be recovered after the ceasefire. They're digging for others. Hamas are telling Palestinians that they fought not just for Gaza, but for Palestinian rights in Jerusalem.
This is a huge demonstration of support for the armed wing of Hamas, the Qassam brigades. And they're sending a message as well that despite the hammering they've taken from the Israelis, that they're still here, they're still ready to fight, and they're talking as well about Jerusalem. That's been the theme of many of the chants here in the cemetery.
And in Jerusalem, Palestinian worshippers fought Israeli police in the courtyard of the Aqsa Mosque, the most holy for Muslims after Mecca and Medina. Nowhere in the world is more contested, more charged with national as well as religious significance as this place. The mosque was built on the site of the Jewish temple. Jerusalem was where the crisis that led to 11 days of war boiled over, and where it might happen again. In Gaza, Hamas have claimed victory, as Israel did too. The only certainty is that without political change and diplomatic progress, they'll fight again. Jeremy Bowen, BBC News, Gaza.
Well, for more on what's been happening in Gaza, we're joined now by Carl Schembri of the Norwegian Refugee Council. He's speaking to us from Amman in Jordan. But Carl, I was reading on your website that 12 of the children that were killed in Gaza during this 11-day conflict were actually participating in your program, and you were helping them with the trauma that they experienced through daily life in Gaza. So this is so tragic, isn't it, what's happened?
Indeed, it's totally devastating. It is extremely traumatic for even our colleagues who have been working with them, and all of us really. These were children aged between 5 and 15 who were in their homes with their parents in the presumed shelter of their families, who were struck by the Israeli military by drones and airstrikes that killed them together with their parents, with their siblings, with their neighbors, in the so-called safety of their homes. They weren't collateral damaged, they were hit in their homes. And we were working with them. We were trying to help them to cope with the trauma that they've endured from previous escalations from 2014, but also the daily life in Gaza. And this is, I think, the main point, which I think Jeremy Bowen just referred to in his report, that there is this daily violence, daily terrifying existence under siege in Gaza that these children have to go through, and together with their parents, that is traumatizing them. And we're trying to help them get through it. And then something like this not only traumatizes them again in the most dramatic way, but it is also deadly. It is killing them. It just wipes them out with their dreams and with their nightmares.
And you're still working with children in Gaza now, as the US president has pledged to help rebuild Gaza in an effort with the United Nations. Do you have confidence that this rebuilding effort in Gaza will happen this time in a way that it didn't in 2014?
No, the rebuilding will happen. And that is, I think, the most tragic part of this is that, of course, we have to rebuild. We have to go back and repair the damage, rebuild from the destruction, use the rubble to rebuild again. And Gaza will be rebuilt. We will start healing the people again. The question is, will the governments, will Mr. Biden use all of his influence and power to make sure this doesn't happen again? Because, of course, we need the government's generosity to get the funding to help us help the Palestinians stand back on their feet again after all of this. This is devastating. Everything has been destroyed, from houses to hospitals to mosques to streets. And it will be rebuilt. There's no doubt of that. It will take years. But the bigger question is, will these same governments funding this make sure that it doesn't happen again? And the only way to make sure of that is to stop the root causes of all this, the systemic injustices. The siege itself has to be lifted. The occupation of Palestinians has to end.
I have to agree. The occupation of Palestinians, the blockade has to end, okay? This blocking of people getting supplies, that's an atrocity. David was talking about atrocities, and I was saying that they go on. It's a crime against humanity to block basic supplies from getting into this place, to block people from being able to go out and fish so they can feed their families, not to mention the bulldozed, fucking olive groves and...
This call.
Hang on just a second. All right, this one's for Dave. Thanks very much, Dave. Very nice of you. If you'd like me to do a dab for you, there's clickable links right there. Thanks a lot, Dave. Thanks, Dave. That was very nice. Hold on just a sec. All right. So we are $15 away from making our $50 goal so we can give away our Domino's Pizza Call gift card to the 5th caller. So if you want to make that happen, Jackie Cat put down half the way there. It's so nice of you. Anyways, hello, caller.
Hey, Mike.
How's it going, bro?
Hey, good. I thought that young-sounding guy, Dave, that's a good call, man. And I like that second clip you just played. That guy that was talking,
Yeah.
I don't know how he can even speak about that, what happened with those 12 dead Gazan children
66.
without crying. Because he was working directly with them for years, since 2014, to try to get them over their trauma, right? Because they were so traumatized by what happened in 2014, and then they get killed. And I don't know how he can even go on camera and talk about it without crying. I'm almost crying right now just thinking about
I think
fucking investment in those dead kids, you know.
I think there's a limit on how many tears humans have.
Yeah, I think so too, man. But I hope I never run out.
Yeah, that would be something to cry over.
Yeah, you know, they say tears wash the soul or something like that. I don't know how people can, you know, I go through life and I put on a good face and try to be brave, not cry over bad shit that happens, and you know, be strong and suck it up and you know, be a tough guy. But I'm not in Gaza with dead people all around who are innocent, you know. So and I, you know, I cry when one of my friends dies or one of my relatives die, or and so I really feel for that situation. And the first half of that clip, that's a questionable. They're stating facts that are still not confirmed. You know, when what happened was Israel during the last conflict last week announced that they're going to have a ground invasion, and then they line up all these tanks and all this personnel, armored personnel, and people on the border, and they're going to go in, and we're going to go in any moment now. And last time that happened, they got their fucking asses kicked by the Al-Quds Brigade and the Al-Qassam Brigade. Those are brigades in Hamas. Mm-hmm. And they got fucked up last time in 2014. They really lost some men. And the point of the first clip was, oh yeah, we killed so many Hamas soldiers underground.
Yeah.
But that has not been confirmed.
Right.
There's no evidence for it or against it. They bombed some places they thought were tunnels, and
you know,
I heard, you know, Sky News in Australia, right?
Yeah.
Sky News is a totally Zionist operation, and I heard a guy say, this is the most brilliant operation I've ever seen since World War II, where they faked them out with social media, and they all went underground, and we killed hundreds of them. You know, that's I mean, that's not confirmed.
You know,
really,
I keep seeing this video where I've been watching the Israeli news, and they're showing like roads with big giant holes in them and saying that confirms that there was a tunnel there. And all that confirms is that a giant bomb was dropped there, and now there's a big old divot there because that's what giant bombs do.
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't be in Hamas's interest to admit that 20 or 40 guys were killed in tunnels preparing for the Israeli ground invasion. They're not going to admit that. But I'm not the only guy saying this. There's lots of other people that have been watching the Israel-Palestine conflict for decades, and they're saying the same thing. we don't know, and and just look at the way Netanyahu lies. Anyways, he's going to. If you can't confirm the victory, it's going to be a victory for Netanyahu. I mean, he's high-fiving everybody in Israel right now. Netanyahu is it like we beat him, and you'll notice that there are two dialogues coming out of Netanyahu. One, he's speaking to the press and the Israeli population mostly, and saying, "Yeah, we are we beat them, and we'll crush them, and we'll crush their heads, and we bomb the shit out of them." And the other one is, "Oh, we're the victim, and poor us. We didn't start this." And so, you can't have it both ways. It's always best just to state the facts. I mean, but this is how social media and television interact with actual underground politics. Is that they use it now to claim a victory when they don't have a victory, because public opinion is so important. And I see the tide of public opinion is turning now. And I'm sorry if I don't know any details about a Jew getting beat up in L.A. or wherever the fuck it was, but I'm sorry if a Jew got beat up in L.A.
Well, they said somebody got beat up in New York and somebody got beat up in L.A. Supposedly, but it's like, of course it was the people celebrating the Palestinian people. They're the ones that were the problem, and that seems a little bit like, but we haven't investigated yet, and we'll find out the truth of all this,
Well, they're going to spin that the same way they spun. They always spin it. The Jews are always victims. That's their one power, is that they're all perpetual victims, and you can't criticize them because they're victims. Even if you criticize them, you're victimizing them. So that's Jewish power there. Jewish power is the ability to suppress talking about Jewish power. So part of that is being the perpetual victim. But they pulled the same thing on the Asian American thing. They just passed a bill for, hate crimes against Asian Americans. I really don't think too many Asian Americans were attacked by crazy people. Only crazy people would attack a completely strange and innocent Asian American in USA because of a China virus. Only crazy people do that. And I don't think it's widespread, but it makes good PR. Biden's got good PR. I'm going to do this. It's politically correct. Netanyahu wants good PR. I'm going to do this. It's politically correct. So they're just using the media to boost.
Well, I don't think Netanyahu's doing anything politically correct.
Well, he wants to appear to be politically correct.
He wants to appear to be a fucking strong leader that gets the job done. That's what he wants, because he needs to be reelected, and everyone's saying that if this didn't happen, there was no way he was going to get reelected.
Yeah, well, the media, especially Israeli media, is saying that crazy Palestinians at Al-Aqsa were throwing mosques at policemen, and that's their line.
Yeah.
They had rocks inside the church.
Yeah.
Well, that's because you broke into the fucking mosque 1,200 times while they were praying, and so they learned, let's clean the carpets and let's pile up some rocks in the back in case the Israeli police come back in, which is what they did.
Right, which they should have no business being there for Friday. Just stay the fuck away. Go ahead.
They have I wouldn't call it a temple, but it's a Jewish. They dug underneath Al-Aqsa Mosque with tunnels from 3 different directions.
Yeah.
And in the center, where those 3 tunnels meet, they perform Jewish rituals in the ground in a cave that they made under Al-Aqsa Mosque, and they've undermined the foundation of the mosque so much that the plaster is cracking, and they perform Jewish rituals in the ground underneath the mosque already. They really want that piece of land, and they really want to tear that thing down. And they're as crazy as anybody. It's like, that's really Fort Antonia, which was named after Mark Antony, the buddy of Julius Caesar, right? And there's no evidence, there's no archaeological evidence there ever was a second Jewish temple that was torn down on Al-Haram al-Sharif. That's that big giant platform where Al-Aqsa sits on. There was never a Jewish temple there. If they want a Jewish temple, go about 2 miles south and build a fucking Jewish temple somewhere and cut the bullshit and stop trying to steal somebody else's fucking church. It's not your fucking church. It's Fort Antonia. It was built by the fucking Romans. There was no temple there. That's what every archaeologist, including Israeli archaeologists, say. We've never found any evidence of a second temple or any Israeli culture going back 2,500 years.
When was the mosque built?
It was rebuilt 4 times, and the last time was 16th century. So we're looking at about a 400-year-old building, maybe 450.
Well,
I don't think
16th century would be 1500, so that would make it, between 500 and 600 years old.
Yeah, well, I think it was like 1640.
Okay.
I don't.
It doesn't look. See, there's things like here we don't have anything like that, but just this amazing, craftsmanship that that doesn't exist on the planet anymore. It's. I wonder how long it took to build. Do you know?
No, but one of the most remarkable things about the entire Middle East, from Istanbul to Iran and everywhere in between, is their tile work. And if you go to Iran, they got places in Iran that make the Al-Aqsa look like a slum, a ghetto. I mean, it's a nice-looking dome, and it's a nice-looking building, and it's got good tile work. But basically, according to their religion, it's where Muhammad ascended into heaven, and that's why it's important. In Mecca is where Muhammad, basically overthrew the pagan religions and had his vision in the mountain nearby, and the angel Gabriel came to him and said, recite, and made him memorize all this stuff. And then, I don't know the whole history of Islam, but a Muslim, I think the word Muslim means submit. That's why they kneel down, because they're submitting to God 5 times a day. And why the Jews don't let them just pray. There's nothing wrong with praying. I mean, basically, they're pretty fucking peaceful people if you don't fuck with them. So why? Which
is the way I see everyone, really.
Right, yeah. So the dialogue, the global dialogue, is changing slightly. I don't think Biden will ever pour money into Gaza or remove the... Biden will be dead before Gaza's free and the blockade is lifted. The Jews are not going to allow that, man. The Israelis. They are so dead set on tearing down Al-Aqsa, and this is what you see. Every time they go in there, I've seen them go into Al-Aqsa 100 times. And every time they go in there, they're just setting another precedent. Well, it's okay. We do this all the time. It's like, we can, like a cop. We can beat up this pedestrian. We do it all the time. It's the same mentality. If you did it once, you do it 5 times. You do it 50 times. So this, what happened on Eid. I don't know the significance of Eid. It's a holy. So it's the last day of Ramadan, I guess, and I'm not a Muslim, and I give them whatever they want to do with their religion. That's fine. Eat lamb, go on a fast, do whatever you got to do. Pray 5 times a day. That's cool. The Jews got their weird rituals, and I don't begrudge them their rituals. I'm more against Catholic communion and all the Christian bullshit than I am against anything else, because I think, the Spirit of God is within human beings, not outside of human beings. And most Christians don't know that the Jews are waiting for a Savior that is way different from the Savior that the Christians are waiting for.
What deity is it that Jews worship?
Well, they worship Yahweh, but if you read Blavatsky and if you know the Gnostic scripts, the Apocryphon and the Gospel of Thomas and Pistis Sophia, you will notice that in those scripts they list Yahweh as a lesser planetary entity, the head of the demons. So this is why they burnt the Library of Alexandria. They chased the Gnostics out of in the Middle East, and they burnt all the libraries. This is because the Gnostics were criticizing the Christian, the Judeo-Christian line that was set up by Constantine in the year 240 at the some big meeting they had with all the holy men. I forget the name of it, but Yahweh was listed by the Gnostic literature and by Blavatsky in the Secret Doctrine as the head of the archons, the head of the demons that inhabit planet Earth, and I happen to agree with that. He's a false god, and this is why I don't subscribe to Christianity or Judaism, or I'm not into Islam, and I just view the Hindu stuff as archetypal. It's not to be taken literally, but half the planet takes this shit literally, So I eat cows. I'm sorry. I'm a meat eater. I'm sorry I'm eating your sacred fucking animal, all you Hindus out there. But
chicken tastes good.
Crazy.
Bacon tastes good.
Yeah, I had bacon yesterday. It was good. But that's pig, my friend. Bacon is pig stomach.
It tastes good.
The rhetoric and the dialogue and the conversations that are being had are improving a little bit. You got more support for Palestine, but I guarantee you this is not the last time. They're going to have to come in and massacre one more time before the world really stands up. And now, so you got the victim thing. Oh, the Jews are the victims. They're beating up Jews all over the place. And,
yeah.
I made the mistake one time after 2014. I was standing in line at the Vons, and some nice-looking kid said, "Oh, you want to go ahead of me?" He's a really nice guy. And I said, "Yeah, sure," because he had, more stuff than me, and sometimes people do that for each other.
Yeah.
And I went ahead of him, and I put my shit on the counter, and I looked at him, and he was wearing a yarmulke. So he was a little Jewish kid, and they got a Jewish center, of which I've kind of battled with over the years, a little bit, not much, just a couple miles away from here. And I told the kid, I made a mistake, and it's okay if anybody calls me an anti-Semite, because I admit my mistake. I told the guy who let me in line ahead of him, nice kid, I said, I was still upset by the 2014 war, and I said, man, you really shouldn't be wearing that in here, and I think that was a complete mistake on my part, because I was attacking his traditions that he was raised in, and if I was going to say anything to this nice Jewish kid, I should have said, you should really try to respect Palestinian lives, or something like that. But I made the mistake of criticizing his yarmulke, telling him, don't show off your religion in the store.
He's a kid, man. He's got nothing to do with Israel or Palestine. I mean, there may be some brainwashing going on, but that's not the point. The point is he's not, he's just doing what he's told right now, and
a nice kid,
trying to be a good guy, which is hard, which is not an easy thing to do.
Yeah, so I'm just as guilty as anybody else on planet Earth of making mistakes and shooting my mouth off, and but no, I don't think there's a lot of anti-Semitism going on, and no, I don't think there's a lot of anti-Asian stuff going on. But after all my studies, I do see that Jewish victimization, making themselves victims because of a Holocaust that happened 75 years ago, and perpetuating that, and still getting money from the United States and Germany and so many other governments, France. They're still getting what they call reparations, and these are the grandchildren of the Holocaust survivors, and they got Holocaust museums. It's like, okay, can we get past that now? Right now, there's crimes going on in Palestine, and we want to address that. And you guys really aren't the victims. You're the aggressors in this particular situation. And Theodore Herzl, the founder of Zionism himself, said exactly what you said last week, which was the best friend of the Jewish people is anti-Semitism, because that's what's going to make them feel sorry for us. If we get picked on, we get the attention. That's basically what he said.
Mm-hmm.
And that was 1897 he said that. So, how the hell he knew that in 1897, I guess you got to ask somebody smarter than me.
The Jews have been persecuted, persecuted. The Jews have been persecuted their entire being forever. Everyone is. I mean, look where we're at right now. We have the people, we have this government that just, can't leave the people alone. More and more laws. It's illegal to be human. We can't just relax and live the way 100 generations before us lived. Now, everything that those people did is now illegal, and we'll throw the key away.
Well, I think that since the Industrial Revolution, when they invented the steam engine and then the internal combustion engine, and they built all these factories, and Henry Ford came along, and then everybody built factories, and they industrialized the Middle East, and every place, basically that's European, what we call Atlantic. Atlantic would be American and European industrialism. And from that, we're post-industrial now. All of that stuff really removed the human's psyche from their own soul. It's like we're all out of touch with our own soul unless we're living really natural lives where we go out into nature and we get our hands in the soil and we still have compassion, because you're 3 times your ego with your cell phone and your online personality, you're 3 times removed from your ego. It's like it is the social media and the cell phone has removed us. We think we're our avatars on social media, and we think we're our TikTok pictures, and we think, I'll show my ass. Every girl thinks she's a fucking movie star because she's got a cell phone, and we're all going crazy on planet Earth. And because we're in a post-industrial high-tech, we're being swamped with information. Our brains can't keep up with it.
I'm telling you right now, I hate computers. I'm tired of computers, and I don't know how I'm ever going to be able to get them out of my life. Right now, they are just too involved in my life. I can't stand it, and I don't know how I'm ever going to be able to get them out of my life to a point where I'll actually be happy about computers.
You don't necessarily have to eliminate them from your life, because the computers are here to stay. And so is the internet and worldwide media.
That's fine with me. I've never had a smartphone. I had a cell phone. I've never bought a cell phone. I've never had a cell phone in my name. And I never had a smartphone. What I'm saying is it's just fine with me if computers are here to stay, but I don't want anything to do with them. But I don't think, not right now, I don't want anything to do with them. But at a certain point in my life, I just like to never have to do anything with computers ever again. And I don't see how that's possible. And this is what I'm saying. This is why I hate and despise computers, because I can't get them out of my life, even when I want it to be a priority. I don't see any way to make it happen.
Well, here's an analogy. It might be good, it might be bad, I'm not sure. But I was in the car business when I was really young, from the age of about 16 to about the age of 21. And I drove everything, Shelbys, Ferraris, Excaliburs, every new Porsche, every fucking car in the world.
What year is that?
That would be from about 76 to about 1981, I think. And then I moved up here at the end of 81.
When I was 16, that was 1978. My dad asked me, he said, if I gave you $1 million right now, what would you do with it? And I told him that I would buy a bunch of cars, a bunch of these collector cars, AC Cobra, a couple of Ferraris. You know what a Bricklin is?
Yeah.
I would have bought up all these really fucking beautiful cars. And he looked at me and he said, that's a pretty good idea, but where would you keep them at? And I was like stumped. I was fucking stumped at that point. Right now I know what I would have done. I should have told him that I'll build a structure on Uncle James's farm, which has been in the family for 5 generations, and we'll store them there. But I didn't think that quickly on that one. He kind of caught me off guard with that question. You there?
Yeah. Well, my point is, for the first, I raised the family. I built 500 buildings and 2 temples. And
well, what I was saying is, though, the AC Cobra at that time, like I said, I would have bought an AC Cobra. An AC Cobra at that time, you could have picked up for around $10,000, and now you can't touch one for under $500,000. So it was a great idea. That's all I'm saying. Go ahead.
Yeah, my point is, I have the dirtiest truck in my town. It's covered with cement. Looks like it's going to fall apart. It's got a R22 engine in it, which is a great engine. But
does it have a rack on it?
No. I used it to haul rocks and cement and lumber and all kinds of stuff. It's so fucking beat up. You wouldn't fucking believe it. Someday I'll give you a picture of it because I still got it. But I was in the car business with all these fancy cars. Yet my entire life I was pretty much poor all the time because raising a family. And so I never really wanted to get a nice car for myself as long as it got me from A to Z, somewhere, and it runs okay. I don't care what it looks like. I already drove all the fancy cars. If you compare that with computers is like it's just a tool. It's just a vehicle, and you got to know when.
No. It's not just a tool. Because sure I can live without tools. I can live without all these tools. They're not going to invade my life in any way. I don't see a way to get computers out of my life. This is what I'm telling you.
That's because of your life choice. You choose to be on YouTube every night.
It's not that. I can get rid of fucking YouTube. That's easy. YouTube been trying to get rid of me for a long time. That's simple. The problem is everything else that I would do besides that is somehow integral to, you have to have some kind of a computer to do your banking or to do, your crypto or whatever it is. You can't just walk around with a pocket full of money, Yeah,
it's here to stay. It's here to stay. So my point is, just like any other thing, ice cream or chocolate or too many diamonds, you got to know when to put it down and go back to nature. And we as a species, especially the young people, haven't learned how to do that yet. Most young people don't know shit about gardening. If they get mud on their hands, it's like, oh no, I'm filthy dirty, oh no. It's like we are detached from nature, and the computers are partly responsible for that. And so it's a good thing in its way, but I've learned to put it down, walk away, go out in the garden, be natural, go sweat, go build something, be silent, or listen to loud rock, whatever, but I don't really, I'm glad for the computer because it serves one of my purposes, but it is addictive. So I've learned to put it down.
Right.
The same way I learned I don't need a fancy fucking car. My truck gets me from point A to point B, and that's good enough for me.
It's really not addictive for me. It's really not. Like I said, I can live without it. It's not a tool. It's something that's it's pushed its way into my life, and I don't know how to get it out of my life. It's like right now I do like doing the YouTube. For a long time I like doing the YouTube, but at a certain point I don't ever want to deal with the computer again, and I don't see how that's possible.
Yeah, well, it's not in this society, in this world which we live in right now. What's necessary is balance. And what's necessary,
I go out in nature and walk every day for 2 hours. I live in a rainforest. I see owls. I see.
That's your balance.
That's not the point, right? I mean, I already have that, and that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a way to get away to move computers out of my life permanently, and it's just not possible. And it really and that's what bothers me, is that if I wanted to step away from computers, it's not possible without going out and living without going and living in the woods or something.
Right. I see in you, Michael, a guy that wants to change the world. You want to contribute to a better planet. And that's not going to really be possible if you get off of computers and get off of YouTube, because we need that tool to find out what's going on and to spread the news.
I've changed the world, dude. I know you don't know who I am or anything, but I've changed the world.
Well, I think you're stuck with computers, my friend, because I'm stuck with it, and I've reached a place where I got balance. I can turn. It is addictive. I'll sit here half a day for 5, 6, 7 hours, and just it's like, oh my God, the fucking day's gone. I gotta shut this shit off. Go outside and do something constructive, because it can be addicting.
Okay, and let me tell you something. I don't have that. I do not sit in front of the computer and surf at all. I do not have a favorite news page that I go to. Charlie don't surf. You hear what I'm saying? Okay, I don't have an addiction problem. Maybe a porno addiction, but that doesn't count. That's not, that can be other ways. And it's not really an addiction. It's just every once in a while I like to look at naughty pictures.
Yeah, well, we're different in that way. I just stay away from porn. I don't need it. It's like, what the fuck, So, but, rock the Casbah, man. It's,
All I'm saying is it's not an addiction for me. I know you keep going back to these points, and that's not the point. Is I have no addiction to it that I can't get away from. The problem is that I can't get away from it.
Well, I think my main point, despite all of everything I've said, is that the human psyche itself hasn't caught up with the technology we've created, and we're going a little bit apeshit on planet Earth. And it's the ones that are attached to the natural world, rivers and stones and rocks and soil and plants and forests and animals. Those are the ones that really learn what life is all about. And if you're on the internet all the time, especially if you're young and you haven't developed a strong sense of identity, you're going to just look at everybody. They're walking around looking at their phones. They don't even know how to talk to anybody.
Yeah, there's no doubt that young people are clearly addicted to the internet and their phones and the computers. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Is I can't imagine walking around looking at this all day when I could be looking at the blue sky and clouds and seeing owls and rabbits, and it's I don't know why you would trade that. I mean, I do. I got to be informed. I need to know what's going on with my friends. You don't need to know those things. And if you really do, you can check on it in an hour or two. You don't have to check on it every second of the day.
Right. Yeah, I think the world of tomorrow, the world of the future, is where people have an excellent balance between technology and computers and the natural world. That's the only way we're going to fix this planet, including the pollution and the radiation and the wars, is if we get back to nature. And I don't see a society that is in touch with nature. I see a society that's in touch with the internet and computers and bullshit, and that's why the opinions are all over the place. The poor Jews and we're being picked on, and those are the bad guys.
And look, it's not just the poor Jews. It's everybody's victimized now. You know, it's all just whichever category it is that you're in, you're a victim. You know. Hey, I'm gonna take this other caller, dude. It's good to hear from you.
Yeah, take care, bro.
Okay, have a good weekend.
Yeah, you too.
Hello, caller.
Hello, Mark.
What's up, Jay?
This is Mark.
What's that?
This is Mark.
Yes.
All right. Sometimes I know I get your boy Craig. You know.
He said, I'm like, you're gonna do the phone tonight? Yeah, and then he fell asleep. So whatever. He's downstairs and sleeping in front of the TV.
Looks cool. Gotta do something.
Yeah, a man has got to have priorities. He works all the time, so.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. Yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I got start off class again next week, so I thought I'd call you before I end up disappearing for a little while here because it's gonna be tough. It's one of those like 6 week. It's a summer class, so it's like a 16-week course, but they packed it into 8 weeks. So, so yeah, it should be interesting. Outside of that, you know.
So you don't get to go and enjoy summer at all? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I don't usually anyways because I'm always inside, you know, doing work at the catering place, but that's all right.
You don't get to enjoy summer?
I mean, I can if I tried, but I'm always working, so I'm trying to get a better job so I can enjoy life more. Because this job,
Yo,
it's
dude,
really hard
no, that's
to
not the way it works, man. You have now to enjoy life. I hear people say all the time, oh, when I get my new girlfriend, when I get my new house, when I get my new car, then I can relax and really enjoy life. And that's not the way it works. So, you know, I'm just giving you a heads up, so you know.
No, I understand. I'm really looking forward to getting like a remote work job, you know.
It makes a huge difference when you feel like you're appreciated at your work.
That too. You know, I mean, I am here. It's just, I don't know. It's not the most lucrative work. So
yeah.
It's
well, you know, it sounds like with you going through all these classes and everything that you'll have some lucrative work coming your way real soon.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. You know, it should be interesting. You know, that should be all right once we hit August here. Then I'll have some free time to do more stuff. But I was planning on doing this thing where I would go to like a park for a couple hours every week, and I just go and study and stuff. So I was thinking, you know, maybe I could study, and then when I'm done studying, just go out for a walk and then go home.
That sounds like a great way to enjoy summer.
Yeah, because I don't mind being here in the apartment, but you know, it gets kind of old after a while.
You know, I mean, if you can me and the dogs, we walk a couple hours a day. And they love walking, but I think they enjoy. We find these places with a shade tree and a table, or just a rock or some grass or whatever, and sit down for a little bit. And they just look so happy and comfortable out there sitting under the tree, you know. So I think that's a good way. If you don't get a chance to go to the lake, that's a good way to enjoy, you know, the outdoors. A nice summer day.
Well, we've got a really nice park that's nearby this river bank area, and that's where I was thinking about going to.
Awesome.
And then they got this other, like, they call it a park, but really it's in a moratorium because it's just a bunch of trees. But that's next to the river, too, and all these ducks like to hang out, but you can't fuck with the ducks, dude. They come at you, and they get the regular quack, like, quack, quack, quack. But then they start throwing out that angry crack, like, and it's like, oh, geez, I just stirred the proverbial hornet's nest. It's more like a duck nest, but it's just like 20 ducks just start chasing after you.
You talking about ducks or geese?
Yeah, ducks.
Huh.
Ducks
I never had
I
that
couldn't
thing.
believe it.
Yeah, I never
I
had
was
that.
like, what the hell are you guys doing? You're supposed to be the friendly one.
Yeah, you're supposed to be cuddly little flat feathers. I never heard of that before. But I've got bitten by a couple of geese in the past.
Oh, jeez, that sucks.
Yeah,
well, there's a game called Untitled Goose Game, which is kind of fun. Where you're just a goose being an asshole, basically.
They're assholes, man. My uncle had a
game.
farm. I mentioned it on the last call, and it was like it's been in the family for generations. And at one time, he had a couple of geese and they were the ones that bit me. They were like guard dogs, man. They didn't know. They were like, "What the fuck are you doing here?"
But they be saying it like goose, like.
They got teeth. They got teeth. They're not. It's not fucking joking around.
It's not like they got like a bill. They got actual like choppers.
Yeah. They ain't fucking around.
Ooh, who decided to give these guys freaking sharp ass teeth? Come on.
Right.
It's like they're like ducks with wings or sharks with wings.
They're pretty intimidating. I don't, I mean, I guess it's you don't want to hurt them, like you don't want to kick them in the neck and make them die, break their back or whatever.
Yeah.
But if I felt like I was really in trouble, it would be like killing zombies all of a sudden, dead.
Just getting over it to be like one of those crazy movie scenes where you just start getting like a gang fight with a bunch of geese.
Attack of the Killer Geese. I think we got a Netflix movie right now, man. Somebody call Netflix. Attack of the Killer Geese.
Like Attack of the Killer Geese Part 2.
They won't. People won't be able to get enough.
That's what it is, too. You can go up with 3 or 4 or 5.
That's what they do these days. That's what they do.
They go crazy with the sequels nowadays.
It seems like it's very difficult for them to come up with original stuff. Just kind of copies of shit that happened before.
Well, that's just pop culture in general right now. Like, that's nobody.
Yeah, I agree.
It's too costly to come up with new ideas.
Right.
It's a lot less risky to do the whole. It's less risky to just put out a sequel after sequel. That's why they keep pumping out Call of Duty games because it's the safe bet. You're going to make money off of this. There's no point in innovating it.
We got a built-in fan base. What are you going to just throw that away?
Exactly. You're going to throw it away by not updating the genre or making it new and not fixing any of the bugs?
For me, that's like when Bungie stopped making fucking Halo, man. These 343 guys took it over, and it's just like, what the fuck is this shit? I was very upset. That was, it was not Halo anymore.
No, I understand that. It was like that with my favorite video game series of all time, Command & Conquer, with Electronic Arts bought them all. Command & Conquer 3 is fun and all, but 4 was the death of the series. It wasn't even Command & Conquer.
Yeah.
And now they got these stupid-ass phone games. That's the last time they made a Command & Conquer game was a phone game. it was like, this isn't real-time strategy. This isn't even strategy. You're just milking me for coins.
Yeah.
But that's the strategy. But that's the other problem. Everybody's taking all these phone game ideas and let's take the exploitative stuff from the phone game, put it in all our regular games, and stop working on the regular games and just exploit people. Like, wait a minute, that's what we're doing now? Okay. Sure, microtransactions for everybody. That's just me doing my video game rant. Back in my day when video games were good, they weren't pulled apart in little pieces and sold off.
That's pretty good.
Thank you. Let's try it. I should try for that one. But yeah, so that I hope you haven't sold any of your crypto. I know things are looking tough right now, but I think it's just a market correction. Big ass market correction. I mean, it could be the great sell-off that I was warned about. Because I remember somebody saying, in a month they're going to try and kill crypto, and that was about a month ago, if I recollect correctly. So I think we're in this moment where they're trying to actually kill crypto, like cryptocurrency, to force everybody back to fiat currencies, so that way they can then crash fiat and then destroy everybody's wealth and force them to go into the real currency. At least that's my opinion on the subject. But I hope it ain't like that. I hope it's just a market correction.
I don't know. I don't. It's hard to say. It's I look at it and
so many factors.
I look at it and I'm just like everything's in the shitter, and I don't really care. I just have the money that people send me, like you send me a little money and other people send me a little money, and it's basically just a little bank account for me for when I'm out of whatever money to pay the rent. I got that saved up, I'll pull that out.
Yeah, I get you. That's the good part about it, it's a backup option.
Yeah, it's just like a piggy bank for me, basically.
Yeah, that's what it is for a lot of people, or something to put money away, or it's not money itself, but I see it as like a commodity. It's like a digital version of Bitcoin is digital gold, and Ethereum is digital silver.
Yeah,
at least to me.
I hear that said about the digital silver. Lots of different cryptos like to claim that.
Yeah, there's a whole, because everybody wants to be, the number two, because everybody knows that, Bitcoin is the heart of crypto.
Number
when
two.
Bitcoin dies, crypto dies, which is why Bitcoin's price is dropping. But that's all right. It's a good buying opportunity in the future. After China completes its ban and that's all this stuff. Hey, great, thanks.
It looks like to me that there's a lot of buying opportunities right now, honestly. Just got to wait for it to look like it's going to go back the other way, and then
that's what I'm hoping for.
Make your move.
I think what it is everybody was trying to mining, mining crypto is bad for the environment and stuff. If you're relying on dirty power like coal or oil or something, but you could be like that that mining farm out in Iceland, 100% renewable.
Yeah,
runs on solar power and batteries, and I know it's out in Iceland, so they get to have that nice Iceland water to cool all their computers.
I think they have I think a lot of it is thermal. A lot of the power they get is thermal.
Thermal.
Yeah.
That's an untapped energy source for our country.
Completely.
We just completely disregard thermal as a renewable source of energy, and that's stupid on our part.
Yeah. It's ridiculous to overlook any kind of energy. Oh, we lost him. We lost Baby Zebus. I don't know what happened there. But is that Baby Zebus?
So you need to press 1 to take this call.
Hello?
Hey, it hung up on me. It did. I don't know. It's like the third time this month where the phone's hung up randomly.
Huh.
So, damn it. Stop hanging up on me, CIA. I don't need this right now. This is my COVID. But yeah, so I'm just saying, there's alternative sources out there for energy.
Well, yeah, it's not that the crypto mining is bad for, or Bitcoin mining is bad for the environment. It's the fucked up, antiquated infrastructure that's bad for the environment, and nobody's fucking taking any steps to make to change that. So
yeah, they just want to attack the mining instead of the heart of the issue, which is that we use all these fossil fuel systems and still, and pretend that that's not the issue, which it is. I mean, yeah, it's energy, but it still is energy that creates a crisis for our ozone layer. You know, like they had like I think one of the largest pieces of one of the largest icebergs in the entire Antarctica finally broke off. So Antarctica is literally melting away, and nobody gives a shit. In fact, they do the exact opposite. They give a shit to try to excuse the behavior. We need to use these. You know?
Yeah, they want it to melt away. They want to use those shipping lanes really bad. And there's, from what I understand, a lot of gold and diamonds and stuff in that area. So, and other
like
natural resources. Yeah, other natural resources too.
Yeah.
So
lithium, I'm sure.
they want both the
lithium's going to be really like people are going to fight wars over lithium this century. I feel like. Because it's going to be such an important resource because, you know, with batteries, and everybody needs batteries now.
In my opinion, that's what the Afghanistan war is actually about.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that too. That's why, like, you know, like I expect us to stay at this point after reading about how there's lithium deposits and, like, you know, Joe Biden's like, oh, we're going to, you know, wait until September 11th. And I bet you right before that, or on September 11th, there's going to be a big old boom down there in Kabul, and they go, "Well, we gotta stay, guys."
That's already happening. They keep talking about the ramp up of violence in Kabul and all these places in Afghanistan. Now that the Americans are withdrawing their troops, there's this ramp up in violence, and all I can think is that doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, if these horrible piece of shit invaders are leaving your country, why would you give them any reason not to live? I mean, not to leave, or any reason even to fire on you. You know, they're going to be gone in fucking 10 days. So we have to go and see how many people we can get killed before that, you know?
Well, what it really was the original date was set May 1st.
Yeah.
After May 1st, then they're like, well, fuck you guys. And then they started taking pot shots at them, which is to their own detriment, because that's going to make the mistake, because you're right. The law, you know, the more the Taliban or whoever rogue group or, you know, attacks military installments of foreign nations, that gives them the reason to stay. That's what people don't understand. Is when you attack, they are there to be attacked. That's the point.
I think that's incredibly convenient for the troops that already want to stay, though. You know, I mean, it's a huge misstep by the Taliban or whoever's causing that. Like I was saying, because they're headed out, but you know, and it's so convenient for the Americans who would like to stay there for another 20 years. You know, so
yeah.
I gotta take a break, Z.
I was gonna say, yeah, all right, I'll let you do this thing, but just like the old Jimmy Dore joke, 2 more years, we get that gold watch, buddy.
There you go.
All right, so you have a fun break, Moxie. Thanks for talking. Hopefully I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, okay, stay cool, man. You can do it.
Yeah, you too. Thanks. I appreciate that. Power positivity.
Yeah, you can do it, man. Don't even sweat it. Just cruise right through it the best you can. And that park idea is an excellent idea.
I'll definitely do that on my days off for sure.
No, I like the idea of you taking your studies down there and studying and then going for a walk. That's what you said. I like that idea.
Yeah. I'm gonna definitely do that.
All right.
I'm definitely gonna do that. If you like it, I like it.
You need it. It's not a matter of
to do something.
You need it, man. I mean, everybody needs it. And if you have a nice park, especially in the summer, because in the winter you can't really do it, but in the summer, you know, it's beautiful weather and. Yeah, and I highly recommend, if you can, if there's not needles all over the place, to go barefoot, dude. Going barefoot is really important too.
It's all right, you know. We do some park cleanups here. We actually got a really nice it's a river watershed council, so the watershed for the river. Mm-hmm. Like they administer like every year, like they go cleaning things and stuff like 2 times a year, once in the spring and once in the fall. Like they have in cities all over Macomb and Oakland County with that covers the entire river thing. Anyways, and then they just up and down the river in cities. Like this city gets a little park cleanup, that city gets a park cleanup, and then they provide the grabbers and the bags and stuff. It's really nice. Really nice.
That's really good. I think that's the only way that parks stay clean, if the community kind of decides that's what they want, you know?
Yeah. It's up to the community to go, we want our local area to, because that's really at the end, that's who's going to give a shit, is the people around you. You know?
Yeah, this is what I say all the time, is that if you make things better, like if there's homeless people and you find them somewhere to live, then you're making where you live better. So how can that be a bad thing? You know, you just made the place better. It's for everyone that you make it better, you know, and somehow they think like, I don't want to pay for homeless people to live somewhere. You know what I mean? It's better. It's a better community if they have somewhere to live instead of them being in the fucking parks, you know, and throwing needles all over the place.
Yep, and I'm blaming them for that stuff instead of going, hey, you know, maybe if we look at this as a whole overall issue, as how do they get there, what can we do to help them get out of there, instead of going, oh, fuck that guy, we need to treat him like shit, so that way it makes it worse.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like that's just, some people, you know, they got different mentalities.
Yeah, well, it's got to be, like you said, it's got to be the community. It can't just be one or two people that are the good guys. You know,
Yeah.
the community has to recognize. They have to recognize that when you improve something, it's not just for that one homeless person. It makes the entire community better, the community that you live in. You know, so it's good to hear from you, Z. I'll talk to you soon. I hope.
All right, I'll talk to you soon too. Hopefully, I'll try to call like soon. We'll see what happens.
You can do it.
Memorial Day. You doing a Memorial Day?
Is that this weekend?
I got Memorial Day off. No, that's next weekend. Next Monday.
Oh,
not this Monday, but the Monday after.
Yeah, no, we'll do a show if that's what you're asking.
All right. And then we'll play some Team America afterwards. Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah. All right, bros.
Fuck yeah.
Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon, dude. Be safe.
Well, I can't promise that.
I understand that. That's why I say that. For everybody be safe for these tough times.
I can't promise that. All right, it's good to hear from you. See ya.
Right. Yep, we'll do. Bye-bye.
I'm going to play this video about a rise in anti-Semitism in the United States because everyone needs to know about this. And again, this is where you see the attacks. This video shows the attacks that happened in New York and Los Angeles. And I think that there's a whole big part of the story, at least possibly a whole big part of the story that's being left out. And I kind of want your opinion on that too. So the number's right there on the screen. I'll be right back, and hopefully we'll give away a lovely Domino's pizza gift card. Sounds good, right? We only need $15. All right, I'm going to play this rise in anti-Semitism video.
And our top story, anti-Semitism on the rise amid tensions between Israel and Hamas. Violence against Jewish communities growing across the country despite a ceasefire being reached in the Middle East. Fox News' David Lee Miller is in New York City's Times Square with the very latest. David Lee.
David, this afternoon, the NYPD said a man had been arrested in connection with the attack of a Jewish man here in Times Square. That attack taking place yesterday evening when pro-Israeli and pro-Palestinian demonstrators clashed. Police set up barricades separating the two sides, but nevertheless violence erupted. Cell phone video caught what police describe as a gang assault on that Jewish man. This afternoon, 23-year-old Wasim Adwe was taken into custody and charged with 5 counts, including assault as a hate crime and criminal possession of a weapon. A few blocks away, in the city's predominantly Jewish Diamond District, commercial-grade explosives were set off, causing one person there to be injured. And by the time the entire melee was over, there were more than 24 arrests. 5 NYPD officers were injured. Demonstrators on both sides spoke out.
I love that there's peace. You know, I'm hoping for peace. You know, I hope that it's long sustained. We'll see how it goes. Really hope that the peace stays.
We don't want a ceasefire. We want Palestine to be free. They stole the land. The map. They stole our land. That's not going to solve everything.
And in addition to a series of anti-Semitic incidents here in New York, other violent episodes have been reported across the country, including in Los Angeles. Diners at a restaurant there were confronted by a group carrying a Palestinian flag and chanting "Death to Jews." In another incident, a Jewish man says he was almost run over by two cars that were waving the Palestinian flag. The Anti-Defamation League says that in the week following the Gaza violence, the number of anti-Semitic attacks in the United States increased by nearly 50%. David.
David Lee Miller in Times Square. David Lee, thank you very much. Joining me now is John Hanna. He is the former National Security Advisor to Vice President Cheney. John, good to see you. It's not just the coasts where this is happening, not just New York and L.A. It's happening in Illinois, in Utah, in Florida, in Arizona. I'm just wondering if there is some blame to be put towards the radical left inside the Beltway that have been saying very incendiary comments about Israel.
Well, listen, David, I think this pandemic of anti-Semitism is finding a home in both ends of the political spectrum. But I do think you're right that in terms of the Democratic Party, there is a rising chorus of anti-Israel voices. It's really a degree of Jew hatred kind of dressed up as anti-Israel activity. And I think that puts a premium on President Biden really coming out strongly and condemning this kind of violence, anti-Semitism, and intimidation. We can have lots of arguments about Middle East policy and what's the right path for the United States to follow, but there cannot be any quarter in any political party in the United States for this kind of blatant anti-Semitism and Jew hatred.
Now, I want to bring out some good news. It's not all bad news, but there are some progressives who are actually pushing back against the radical squad, as they're called. A congressman named Richie Torres spoke out about this on May 14th. Let me play his comments and get your reaction. Go ahead.
The rapid-fire rhetoric that we have seen directed at Israel is so hyperbolic, so vitriolic, that it inflames rather than informs. It delegitimizes Israel rather than de-escalates the Israeli-Palestinian conflict.
And that man is a progressive. I mean, he calls himself a progressive on many issues. It's a pretty strong rebuttal to the squad, is it not?
It is. Congressman Torres has been a profile in courage on this issue. And as you say, David, he is in the heart of the...
I don't know. I just find this stuff fascinating where Israel can do no wrong, you know. Israel, like Mike was saying, Israel is the victim. But everybody's the victim these days. And I'm not talking about you guys, you all in particular. I just mean that all these groups, all these groups of people have been victimized. Like the Israelis have been victimized and all these other groups of people. The homos, LGBTQ, they've all been victimized, and the list goes on and on and on. And it's kind of sad because it adds this thing to your life, which makes it more difficult to be happy, and they talk about the children in Israel and how much this stresses them out, and again, this victimization thing, they just I can't imagine the kids getting over it. So you should really try. I mean, if you were teaching your son or your daughter, it seems like to me you would do your very best not to instill this sense of victimization in them. I'm just guessing. I don't have children, not going to have children, not interested. But it's this fear and, all this. It's I don't know. I wouldn't want to, I even with the dogs, I try if there's lightning or fireworks, I try not to respond to their initial kind of what was that, and just kind of act like there's nothing going on, because I don't want them to have this terrible terror. the terror from lightning or fireworks, man, they get it bad. And it's unfortunate, because when that stuff happens, the scary thing is that they might try and run, you know, because they're just terrified. They don't know. They're trying to get away from it, you know. And I let them go off the leash in a couple places around the neighborhood. So if there's thunder, one of the places we go is this private high school, and they were having a track meet the other day, and I think they were using a starter pistol or something to start some of the races, and apparently, you know, they still use starter pistols, which seems like a strange thing to me, considering how anti-gun, you know, schools are these days. I mean, it's weird, but they were doing the starter pistol, and like the first time it went off, you know, it's not a big deal. They kind of didn't notice, you know, kind of like, what is that? And then it went off again, and then it went off again. And they're like, we gotta go. Okay, stay cool. They were off the leash at the time. Stay cool, it's okay. So, I just checked the email, and we're $15 away. $15 away from making our goal of $50 in donations, so that we can give away the lovely Domino's gift card, which it's pizza. It's pizza, folks. I know you want pizza, but what the fun part is, really, besides giving away a pizza to somebody, is the countdown on the phones. You know, when we make it the fifth caller, and someone calls in, and you're caller number one. I'm like, oh, I want pizza. That's always fun. But in the past, it's always been the 10th caller, so it seems like people kind of hold off. But tonight, if we reach our goal, if we get $15 more, putting us at totally over the top at $50, we'll give away the pizza gift card to the 5th caller. So that should make a more like sense of got to do it right now. Got to call. Because there's only 5 callers, only 5. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully. Either way, it's not like we can't use the gift card next Friday, you know. And also, we were going to have to do the Can You Beat Mike Hawk? Can You Beat Mike Hawk game show in order to get in order to get the Domino's pizza gift card. But Craig has crashed out, and I need Craig's help in order to do that. Actually, he picked the questions, and I have no idea what they are. If I did, it wouldn't be fair. So I can't do it without him. He's integral. It was his idea, and he wants to see if you can beat Mike Hawk, then you win the gift card. But that's not the way it's going to work, because we're not going to play the game tonight. And even if we do play the game next Friday or whatever, it will be whoever wins the calling, you know, whether it's the 5th caller or the 10th caller, that person will get the gift card, regardless if they beat Mike Hawk or not. And if anybody wants Mike Hawk for President postcards or some Mox News stickers, all you got to do is write Craig and let him, or call Craig and let him know. The number's right there on the screen, people. It's easy to do. 805-669-6397. 805 Mox News. And until then, I want to play this little short clip for you because it's important. Well, maybe not this one, but the next one is. So I'm going to play a clip for you about nooses found at an Amazon facility that's being built right now, and they've stopped the construction on it because they found 7, count them, 7 nooses, ropes shaped into nooses. And we've heard this song before, by the way. I'll play that for you. It's just a short clip.
Moving on. Amazon is shutting down a construction site in Windsor, Connecticut after a 7th noose was found there on Wednesday. The first noose was found hanging from a steel beam on the 2nd floor of the building, and then police said 5 more ropes were found on several other floors days after. Due to the number of employees and most of the ropes being found in areas without surveillance cameras, police have limited information on leads. Amazon is closing the site while security measures are put into place. The company has since offered a $100,000 reward for information.
There's my beautiful baby. Hi, my beautiful baby. Teethy brushing day. Teethy brushing day. Let's see. So, 7. Count them. So I thought that was a story that you might. I read it on the Chiron, on the crawl, going across the bottom of a news story. I was like, news is at Amazon. So I looked around and I found that story. And it's good. It's just a little clip. So now I also have a little clip about. Last week I played a clip about the New York City cops being banned from participating in the Gay Pride Parade in New York City, which is a giant parade. And the police fought and fought and fought in order to participate. Gay police wanted to participate in the parade in uniform, and they fought, and finally they were allowed to do it. And now this year they've been banned from doing it in uniform because police don't necessarily make the people that are partying in the parade feel more comfortable, more secure. In fact, it makes them less comfortable, which is like, anyways, I played that last week about New York. This week, Seattle cops were banned from the Pride Parade, which is, again, very interesting.
There is word this morning Capitol Hill Pride plans to ban police from its upcoming June march and rally at Cal Anderson Park. The group sent a news release out overnight that calls for police to remain on the perimeter during the event. Capitol Hill Pride referenced police misconduct lawsuits and the use of tear gas on protesters last summer. The group's release said they do not feel confident in SPD's ability to protect the public's right to protest.
All right, so I also have a super sexy clip of Kennedy, and it's not this one, but I love the super sexy clips of Kennedy, right?
I mean, this coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other, they stay united. I wish the coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other, they stay united. Coalition of misfits, and they cobble together.
Well, I have a new super sexy clip of Kennedy. She does that a lot. I mean, not the thing, but she does little sexy things a lot. It's almost remarkable. But I have a nice clip of her coming up here in a minute. I have a little short clip, another little short clip about booster shots for the vaccine. It appears that in order to be fully vaccinated, you will now most likely have to get a booster shot. And also I'm hearing that you will probably have to get more shots every year because like the flu, they wear off, the flu vaccine. So I'm going to play that for you real quick, and we'll be back momentarily, because it's a short clip.
And now, the race to get vaccinated. More than 45% of American adults are now fully vaccinated. That's according to the CDC. But in the next few months, people may now have to get a third shot. BNC's San Francisco correspondent Ansar Hassan has more on the COVID-19 booster shot.
There is shot 1, shot 2, and now there could be a third.
The natural biology of organisms, and particularly viruses, is that they do mutate, and variants will continue to emerge.
Dr. Dean Winslow is an infectious disease specialist at Stanford. He says starting in the fall, Americans may need to get a COVID booster shot. It's not because the vaccines aren't working, but because over time, vaccinations wane as the virus mutates.
If you take the analogy of influenza virus, which is a different kind of RNA virus, that certainly it is prudent to get a booster every year. So that may be what we're going to be dealing with in the future.
Moderna CEO Stefan Bancel says his company is working on a booster shot that could be ready by September. He says as the southern hemisphere heads into fall and winter, more variants could emerge. They issued a statement in which they wrote, "As we seek to defeat the ongoing pandemic, we remain committed to being proactive as the virus evolves." Bay Area resident Era Jenkins says it's important to follow up to keep people safe.
Even if those people don't want it, if for their loved ones or other people, if they want to get it just to make sure that they feel comfortable to be around them, then I fully support it.
Doctors like George Rutherford, a professor of epidemiology.
All right, so you notice how they never have anybody saying something like, another fucking shot? When is this shit gonna end? You know, how many more fucking shots am I gonna have to get? You know, I mean, like, well, if that's what we need to do, I guess that's what we need to do. You know, where is the person? They don't want that person. They don't want you to know that person exists because they don't want you to act that way. You know, they don't want you to think that you have the right to say, another fucking shot? Are you kidding me? And that should be what we're hearing, you know, because it's just like more and more and more. It's not going to end. And I do not like that idea at all. This shit needs to end. You know, I mean, it's just been so much fucking bullshit. You know, wear a mask, don't wear a mask, don't wear a mask, wear 2 masks. You know, now it's safe not to wear a mask outdoors. Okay, so I have a super sexy clip from Kennedy. Kennedy is also talking about the post office, the U.S. Post Office, USPS. The U.S. Postal Service is now spying on Americans. And it's not just your mail that they're spying on. They're spying on you much more intimately than that. If it could be more intimate than your private personal mail, they are, which, you know, if it was email and such, you know, nobody writes letters anymore. But back in the day, that would have been horrible. And it still is that they're, you know, studying your mail. But it's more than that. And this is a super sexy clip of Kennedy, and I know you want to see that. I'm going to play it for you now before I talk it up too much, and hopefully you will enjoy it as much as I do.
Lawmakers from both sides of the aisle are calling for a federal end to federal spying. In a new letter, you like that? Lawmakers from both sides of the aisle are calling for a federal end to federal spying. In a new letter, you like that? Well, I got some bad news for you. The post office is spying on you. No, I'm not talking about that pervy mail carrier hiding his pup tent with a satchel when you answer the door in a towel. Woo! The post office has a law enforcement arm and a program called ICOP. That's real, which stands for Internet Covert Operations Department. Gross. Here's what they do. They use companies like Clearview AI, a facial recognition site that's amassed over 3 billion social media images they share with law enforcement, as well as Signal that taps social media sites with keywords to keep tabs on protesters. And Infusion, that's another company that allows post bots to make secret, untraceable social media and email accounts where they use all of the above to infiltrate your mojo. For real, that sounds harmless, right? I mean, they say they're doing all this stuff to keep postal carriers safe during riots and whatnot, and that's dandy. But it's a ruse to warrantlessly funnel all your private pre-crime comings and goings to various other law enforcement agencies, like the FBI, through a slippery DHS intelligence sharing portal. Basically, they're building a case against you without a warrant, and they're using private tools to, quote, encompass all online covert operations beyond dark web marketplaces to include publicly accessible websites and private sites. So that's pretty much everything. They're sharing with anyone who can arrest you, further spy on you, or just snoop a loop to get their rocks off. It makes sense. The NSA was busted by Edward Snowden for warrantlessly spying on Americans with programs like PRISM that illegally collected billions of phone records, texts, and emails with direct access to Google and Facebook servers. The FBI has been using their surveillance toolbox to spy on Americans like Carter Page, who was wiretapped through a fraudulent FISA warrant application with such ease and corruption, it should have rejiggered the entire department. The CIA can pretty much infect any device, smartphones, MacBooks, cars, with stealth malware that can apparently also kill you. These are the programs we know about, so it makes sense for surveillance bullies at these agencies to let some federal sheep, like the post office, do the dirty work for them. And it's filthy. The question is, does either major party have the backbone to stand up to egregious warrantless spying in the name of safety? Well, not until we elect the first libertarian or at least liberty-minded president. And they'll probably get spied on, doxxed, and threatened into submission. And that's the memo. Lawmakers from both sides of the aisle are calling for a federal end to federal spying. In a new letter, you like that? Senator Ron Wyden and Congressman Jamie Raskin, both Democrats, they say they want to ban the DOJ from spying on journalists. Meanwhile, Congressman Jim Jordan and Andy Biggs, congressmen, both Republicans, one of them a decorated wrestler, they say they're demanding answers from the FBI on widespread FISA violations. If there is bipartisan agreement that federal spying stinks, why is the post office getting its hands dirty? The party panel is back. It's a man panel. Oh, yes. Anthony Fisher, John Gabriel, and Ethan Behrman. So, Anthony, let us talk about this because neither party really wants to tackle it, and both of them should, because they're both guilty when either one is in charge, and it's so easy to do it and to abuse it that it's got to end. They say it does, but then they just, like the NSA, still getting busted for violating the Fourth Amendment.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually just doing research on a Clinton-era law that was passed right in the wake of the Oklahoma City bombing, which, of course, was right-wing extremists. And then after 9/11, the Patriot Act was passed in response to Islamic extremists and the atrocities they committed on 9/11. And it goes on. And right now, the left and the right, Democrats and Republicans, would like to spy on each other. The right would like to spy on Black Lives Matter protesters and Antifa, and the left would like to spy on people who they think are right-wing extremists or anyone that was involved in the January 6th riot at the Capitol. So they always see the necessity, the absolute national security necessity to spy on Americans when it's the other team. And when it's their team, then the Fourth Amendment matters again.
Yeah, but the problem is, it's the post office, John. So when I read this headline, I was like, what are they doing? Like, you know, thumbing through your mail, like holding things up to a light. And then I realized, like, they have an entire law enforcement arm that is using these companies to collect data in a way that, you know, Ron Wyden has introduced legislation to make sure the federal government does not use Clearview AI to gather images for, you know, future cases. But the post office is doing it. It's disgusting, and it's not something that should happen in this country.
Yeah, it belongs in China. Well, it doesn't belong there either, of course, but certainly not in America. And if they could maybe focus on delivering the mail, that would be a vast improvement. And one of the problems you get when you make government so huge and it goes far beyond what it's there for, they can't do the basic things. We talked earlier about the CDC, but there are basic functions that government should be doing, and they're failing at those regularly. Meanwhile, they're starting all these new programs now which are invading our privacy constantly. I don't blame them for wanting many. Yeah, exactly. And I don't blame them for wanting many photos of me. Good for them. I understand it. The spirit is willing, the flesh is weak.
Yeah.
But it's insane that anything that I would post to Facebook, a picture of my kids, which I've all removed because of stuff like this, any picture I'd post to Instagram or something, they have no need. They don't need to know what I ate for lunch last Tuesday. They do not need this info.
That's a really good point because, as you know, Ethan, you walk into a school and you say, hello, fellow students. You know that kids post pretty horrible things on Snapchat. But now we know that the post office is using these various platforms to anonymously create accounts so they can infiltrate social media like that, and they're gathering all of that information. That's pretty dire.
Yeah, this is an area that I think we actually have a lot of agreement between you and me, Kennedy. This is an absolute intrusion
they're circumventing, I think this is a very important point, they're circumventing the Fourth Amendment by using these private third parties to vacuum up all the data. And this is actually a time where we're supposed to pass a law, to your point, that I think both parties should come together and say this is absolutely wrong to use these gigantic third-party services like Clearview AI to circumvent our constitutional rights, our civil liberties, and have the post office of all ridiculous. The post office. I mean, there's at least an argument for the FBI, the CIA, the NSA. There's no argument for the post office.
And I don't buy that. We're just trying to keep our workers safe. Oh, you are? So you're creating bots to spy on everyone and then, jam it through the slippery intelligence sharing portal through the DHS? That is malarkey. That is hot malarkey. That's hot stank malarkey. All right, well...
That was pretty sexy, right? I thought that was pretty sexy. I'm going to definitely use that again. You like that? Yes. Yes, I do. Why don't you just do that for an hour? I'll be very happy. So, that being said, I thought that was a pretty good clip. Very interesting. I had no idea. Well, it's not that I don't have any idea. I don't, all I do is post videos and do this talking thing, this topical talking thing. I don't really post. Well, that was part of it. Like I keep saying, back in the day when I posted 20,000 videos, I posted 20,000 videos before I ever posted an on-camera video. And then I probably posted another 50, another 35, 40,000 videos before I actually did a live show. So it's never been about me. I don't do social media. I have no idea. I actually have no idea what's on my Facebook page. It's just another way for people to contact me. Craig manages all that shit. I have email, and people who've been around a while know what the email is. So I am pretty much out of videos. I have a few things left. If you guys want to do this is going to be the last chance to do the game show, not game show, but the pizza gift card giveaway. We're $15 away from our $50 goal. So I'm going to play, do I have a short video? Well, I'm going to play the bright side, and then I'm going to play another video, and then it's pretty much done. So if anybody wants to call, if anybody wants to kick in so we can do the pizza gift card giveaway, now's your chance.
Sometimes life can be a little overwhelming. Sometimes the weight of the world can be too much to bear.
Hold on. Jackie Cat, you missed Kennedy dancing? You didn't see Kennedy dancing? What, are you watching somebody else's show? Huh? Will we play Kennedy dancing again? I thought it was pretty good. I'll play it for you. Are you paying attention now? Hold on. Where's it at? Hold on. All right. Just a sec. Hold on. Which one was it? Clip number 3. It kind of rhymes with sexy, right? Number 3, sexy. So I'll play that for you now, Jackie Cat. And you can tell me if you think it's sexy. Just a little short clip. I'll be right back and we'll do something else.
Lawmakers from both sides of the aisle are calling for a federal end to federal spying. In a new letter, you like that? Lawmakers from both sides of the aisle are calling for a federal end to federal spying. In a new letter, you like that? Well, I got some bad news.
Did you not see that? Did you miss that part? I don't know. Maybe you didn't think it was as sexy as I do. That girl kind of makes me crazy. I think it might have something to do with her being on Fox News, But I think if she was anywhere else, she's always been entertaining, you know. I mean, she got her start on the MTV, and then she had her own radio show. So you have to be a pretty entertaining person to be on the MTV, and also kind of well informed, because I believe she did the news on the MTV also. So, and then to do a radio show, a daily radio show, again, you have to be entertaining and fairly well informed. So, kudos to Miss Kennedy. I'm sorry, Ms. Kennedy. All right, I'm going to play one more video for you, and then if you guys, if we get the $15 in donations that we need to reach our $50 goal, I will give away the pizza gift card. Otherwise, I got to go grocery shopping. And it's teethy brushing day, huh, boo-boo? Teethy brushing day, yeah. That's his favorite. He loves teethy brushing day. Huh? Doesn't he look so happy?
Well, let's stay with that. I'm joined by Michael Kotler-Wunsch, a former MP in the Israeli Knesset. Thank you so much for joining us on BBC World News, Michael. Let me ask you, first of all, your reaction to the ceasefire.
So, you know, I would more refer to it as a fragile truce. A fragile truce, because the word ceasefire insinuates that we have long-term hopes for this ceasefire. And I remind us that it is a ceasefire between Israel, a law-abiding state, and Hamas, a genocidal terror organization, committing a double war crime, targeting Israeli children with 4,300 rockets from amidst very densely populated areas in Gaza, compromising and using Gazan children as human shields. And so the word ceasefire with a genocidal terror organization is one that we don't hold great expectations for.
Okay, some would argue that Israeli rockets also killed many Palestinian people. Israeli rockets targeted Hamas, but they weren't as precise as the Israelis made out they were. A lot of people died, innocent people in Gaza and the surrounding area. And some would also argue that Israel, perhaps, if they want to guarantee a ceasefire, could look at the root causes of the problems, which predate Hamas, don't they?
Oh, well, they certainly predate Hamas, a genocidal terror organization hell-bent on the annihilation of the State of Israel in their charter. So there is no acceptance of the legitimacy of the State of Israel to exist. And I would argue that if we hope for, and we do, for peace with Palestinians, those very
Okay, so you know what I found interesting about her? You can't believe a single word she's saying. But besides that, she does this with her head. But she doesn't just do this, she does this with her head. So he goes like this, and like this, and like this. And I was like, what is she doing? Okay, so we didn't make the $50 in donation. Nobody kicked down the last $15 we needed. But we do this every Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific, which means maybe we can make it happen next Friday. Dabs for Donation Friday. Anyways, we gave it a good try. But, again, we do this every Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Jackie Cat, did you think that was sexy? Hot, skanky malarkey. Girl's damn cute, huh? Okay, we do this every Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific time, which means we'll be back on Monday. Same Mox time, same Mox channel. You see that? He knows when the show is over, right? He goes, oh, same Mox time, same Mox channel, time to get up, time for crunchies, time to brush teethies. See the ears go back? No, we don't have to brush teethies. You're my beautiful baby, Boo Bear. He's so smart. Every Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific time, which means we'll be back on Monday. Same Mox time, same Mox channel. And until then, stay cool, because one of these days, this war is going to end. Stay cool till then.
No matter which mouth you feed on a two-headed snake, it still shits the same turd. But lucky for you, you have Mox News. More than 10 years. More than 60,000...
Oh, and thank you very much, Jackie Cat. It's very, very nice of you. Thank you, David. It's very, very nice of you. hopefully next week we'll be able to make it happen with the pizza card giveaway. Until then, like I said, hopefully we'll see you Monday.
No matter which mouth you feed on a two-headed snake, it still shits the same turd. But lucky for you, you have Mox News. More than 10 years. More than 60,000 videos. Mox News has been filtering the nonsense and illuminating the bullshit from your mainstream media. Turn off your TV and turn on to Mox News. For over a decade, documenting the socio-political events that have etched and carved the pathways that define today's modern mess, Mox News has been providing clarity while faithfully bringing you today's relevant stories 100% commercial-free and subscription-free. And just like Lady Liberty vows to remain free. But at this time, we're asking you for your help, your patronage, and your support to keep the lights on and the videos rolling. For less than 17 cents per day, you can become a basic subscriber, knowing that your donation is truly making a difference that will help continue bringing the news stories that make a difference in your life. Turn on, tune in, and drop a couple dimes today by clicking the link below or visiting moxnews.com and show your support at any level. From a single one-time donation or dedicated monthly subscriber, do it now in less than 2 minutes. All donations are safe, securely processed, and verified using PayPal, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, or Discover Card. As always, we're sure you'll find something of interest each and every day. This holiday season, give the gift of Mox. moxnews.com.